Gary Bennett is alongside of me, of course, as ever, and I would suggest that you're not surprised in the least.
No, not at all. But it also starts to give you a little bit in regards of strength and depth as well. There's obviously plenty of options for Tony Mowbray. We talk about Dennis Serkin, he could have come in, but unless he's doing an excellent job at left back, or he can even play at centre back, and Barr's done well. So yeah, we've got options. And you look at the team, and it's something which we discussed on Total Sport last night in regards of, we've got lots of options, attacking options. People who can win you a game. We're not just relying on one person. Aidan McGeady, when we had Aidan McGeady, or Ross Stewart to get us the goals. We've got players like Roberts who can turn the game. Jack Clark, Ahmed who can, and I think Gelda is getting better each game he plays.
At what point, I heard your discussion on Total Sport last night with Davey. Good old Davey.
Oh, Davey, yes, Davey.
Agreed with me for once.
Simon's favourite.
Yeah, his favourite. He made a good point, actually. I think he probably agreed with us that the team that's been named this afternoon was the team that was going to be named. But he made a point about, it would be great to get O'Nien in this team, great to get Serkin in this team. But who do you leave out? It's a valid point.
Yeah, and again, Davey talked about Pritchard. He was going on that Pritchard should be playing. Now, Pritchard playing in the 10 role, but if he plays in that 10 role, who do you leave out? That's what you're going to. That's the question. There will be a time when he will get his opportunity, and it's a case of if he will take it. And yes, we've seen midweek that Tony Mowbray is not afraid to change the formation and bring players in, and I've got to say that the players when they do come in, they do a job.
And what about Gelhardt? I know there was a conversation last night. How long do you persevere if Gelhardt doesn't score?
Well, you start to worry after maybe, I would say, after about maybe half a dozen games. But saying that, you've got to look at the other side of it is his work ethic. What problems he causes the opposition. You're looking at the opportunities which he's fallen his way. Okay,
Keep your man, how are you doing, mate? Good luck for today. We have Middlesbrough today. Yeah, good luck for you lot today.
But that'll come.
I don't
he's
know.
At a new club.
We beat Middlesbrough.
He's getting that understanding, that relationship, building that relationship.
On the day, Millwall are currently beating Sheffield United at the minute.
Where he wants the ball, where he needs to run. And I think once he gets that goal, then I think his confidence will grow.
Indeed. This afternoon's game, Bristol City, they're on an unbeaten run. 10 games since Boxing Day. They're suddenly hit a very good vein of form. I don't think we're going to get another Reading this afternoon. I suggest they'll let Sunderland play, which actually will probably work in Sunderland's favour, won't it?
Yeah, they'll let Sunderland play to a certain degree. I can't
believe Millwall beating Sheffield United like that.
Is gain
so what? Middlesbrough will be hoping to
championship clubs and
get a result today, actually, because they'll be closing the gap against Sheffield United.
Have sat up and all of a sudden they're talking about Sunderland, even if you're not a Sunderland supporter, if you're just a neutral football fan who's watching football, being sort of thinking, wow, Sunderland are playing tonight, I'm going to watch them. I was at QPR on Tuesday night, and a QPR supporter came along and said, I'm going to watch Sunderland tonight, because he was impressed. He's been impressed, especially that Fulham display which was seen all over the country. People said, wow,
Bradshaw scoring for fun.
They're a team who you'll go and watch and be entertained. And I think we've spoken to a lot of supporters this season, and one thing is which a lot of them have come back with is that the football which they've played, this type of football which they've played, it's been a long time since you've seen Sunderland play with so much creativity, even under Peter Reid. Yes, they had the two wingers, but when you talk about talent in regards of individual talent and ability which they've got, and something which people are sitting on the edge of the seats and getting people off the seats, we only talk about maybe a player or two players in the team. I think in this team, I think we shall we say, at times overrun with talent. You know, you can say 3 or 4 players at the moment. The minute they get the ball, you're thinking, what's he going to do? You know, and you're sitting there and you think, wow. Because, again, they've got a good understanding, they've got a good relationship, and I've got to say, I've been really, really impressed the way they've gone about
George Pettit, hello, did you excited?
In fact, to the point where
with Sunderland, you just never know what team they're going to turn up and how they're going to play.
You know, sometimes they need to get shots away.
But yeah, I mean, I'm positive.
We'll hear from Tony Mowbray before kick-off, but one of the
we're just the type of team that we just
probably the best.
Just don't know what we're going to do.
Probably Sam Allardyce was here. The
last time we won 2 on the bounce, I think we lost at home against Swansea. So
there's a buzz back.
Yeah, we've still got to do our business. It's going to be a hard game.
And even, you know, I just think that yes, under Sam Allardyce, fantastic, great atmosphere, but again, it was a different type of football. You know, we're talking about football here, and it's described as a little bit ticky-tacky. You know, so many flicks and passes. You know, you look at the goal which we scored on Tuesday night, the 3rd goal, fantastic. Them are the sort of things you go through in training. You know, giving goals down, pull it back to the penalty spot, somebody comes in on it and puts it in the back of the net. You know, that's what we call shadow play. That's playing against anybody. We're playing against opposition and doing that. You know, that's something which you work on in training, but when it does happen in a game, you're thinking, wow. You know, and in the end, you're looking at the game QPR and the shall we say, the gap between the two as the game went on got bigger and bigger because of the quality which Sunderland had. And in the end, you know, we talked about the amount of bookings QPR got. You know, that was the only way they were going to get near Sunderland. And, you know, it might happen to... Yeah, what we're hoping for, we're thinking, if it's an open game, wow, fantastic for us, because we're thinking, man for man, we're going to say, that'll suit us down to the ground. Because we've got so many, shall we say, options on the pitch, which will make things happen.
You mentioned the pitch. A few people remarked on the state of it the last time out. And Tony Mowbray said 1 or 2 of the players had complained about it. It's been reseeded. You can start to see the benefits of that today. I'm told that you'll see the full benefits of the reseeding, but at the Stoke game in a fortnight's time.
What's wrong with the pitch?
Well, there's nothing wrong with it. In general terms, I mean, it's not. You know, it's
flat. It's flat.
Exactly. I know.
It's got grass on.
I'm just pointing out. People said it looked a bit bare.
Bare.
And it was
bare.
Because the grass had died, basically.
That's how football's changed. That looks bare.
It cost a fortune, this pitch, and they've reseeded it. I don't know why you're blaming me. It's nothing to do with me. I'm just telling you.
I'm just saying. That good job we've got Rob beside me, because if you're calling that bare, wow.
No, that's not bare. It was last week.
What that was bare last week. What do you call bare?
No, well, I'm relaying what people had said to me, and I'm relaying to you as a consequence.
I tell you what, we'll ask our expert Rob, and ask Rob: is that bare, or was it bare last week?
And to put into context, Rob Mason is club historian. He's not the groundsman.
No, but he can describe if that was bare. What's bare?
It's good that Nick was using the word relaying, because relaying is really what we're talking about.
Right, that's right.
The pitch is a great pitch. It's in good condition. It is February the 18th. For February the 18th, this pitch would be the equivalent of Wembley back in the day when people were playing 20, 30, 40 years ago.
And to give you the context...
But it's not perfect,
yes,
and the players,
it's not bare.
And the way that Sunderland are playing, they want a perfect surface, and it would help them. So they're doing everything they can to get the surface as good as it can be.
It's not threadbare.
What do you call bare? Somebody who's got a vest on, and he's on the pants. Is that bare?
Well, I'm going to turn your microphone off. Huh? Will you be quiet for a moment? What's happened is the grass a few weeks back in the freeze.
Okay.
A lot of it died. The roots died. They have reseeded it, and the consequence is you can see where it's got a lot greener within the 2 penalty areas, which were 1 or 2 of the areas that had suffered.
Fantastic.
And it started to look a bit greener elsewhere. It was looking a bit browner the other week.
Okay.
Not barer maybe, but browner.
Right.
And by the Stoke City game, it should be looking more green than brown.
Right. Okay. So that's the equivalent of somebody standing in a vest and the underpants, would you say they're bare?
Not quite bare.
Exactly. I can see the arms
yes.
and the legs, but I won't say they were bare.
But nearly bare. Let's move on to
that was a
today's
equivalent. That was a good equivalent, wasn't it?
I hope you're not going to be spent before the game starts now. I hope you're going to sort of revive again at 3 o'clock.
No. I'm going to sleep.
No, you're not, because you feature here now, because there's a Rob Mason's column in the programme today features you.
Does indeed.
Centre of flipping attention, this one.
Does indeed.
Ooh.
Next week I'm going to start groundsman's column with Benno.
See, he's pointing at me now.
Yeah.
That means he's angry. When he points, he's angry.
Not angry, I'm chilled.
He's chilled, yeah. Yeah, there's an article about Gary, and the credit for this article goes, well, firstly to Gary, because he's the person with the achievement, but to Bill Hearn, who's
just another one,
Bill Hearn is a Sunderland supporter based in Leeds, very, very keen supporter, and the co-author of a book called Football's Black Pioneers, which is a really good read, where he details the story of the first black player ever to play for any of the 92 football clubs. But as part of this, I think he's been talking to Gary recently, and he's done a bit of research that actually shows us that Gary was actually the first person of colour to captain a league side at Wembley, ahead of all of the likes of Viv Anderson, who did so in cup finals and so on. So there's an article about that in the programme this afternoon, and it's a credit to Gary, it's a credit to the football club, and it's well worth a read. And as I say, the research for that goes down to Bill Hearn, not myself, but Bill was good enough to get in touch with me and let me know about this, so I've used the story this afternoon.
Did you know about that? Did you know that?
1 or 2 people did mention it to me, but you would have thought, nah, it couldn't be. You would have thought that there's another team which was captained by a black player before me, but I think that just goes to show you what part the football club itself has played. And that's a great, shall we say, hallmark for the football club.
Yeah.
You're going to have to move to a bigger house, you are, for all the honours you've got.
A bare one.
I hope it's the one with a decent pitch at the back, Gary. I'm going to come round and check your lawn, and if it's not perfect,
exactly.
I'm going to get Monty on it, because Monty's the one for a perfect lawn.
Monty, I'll ask Monty about
that. Photograph, isn't there, of Benno on the mower at Roker?
Covered every blade of grass, didn't you, Gary?
Get out there on your mower. This afternoon as well, I did notice on Twitter yesterday, someone mentioned this, but the great grandson. Great grandson. I think they put a few too many greats in there. But the great grandson of the founder of the club is here.
Brendan O'Donnell, who's a good friend of the club, a direct descendant of James Allen, who founded the club, is my guest here at the football club today with his.
Hey, Lord chaps,
just
having munchies, a bit of something and some snacks.
Here as well. Brendan lives in York. And these days is a very keen and
commentators usually
follows the
Barnes
team avidly.
and Gary Bennett.
It's always nice to welcome him and his family
it's
to
still
the
Aston Villa
to the football club.
Arsenal
and hopefully the spirit of the man who first brought football to Sunderland and was the creator of Sunderland Football Club will be with us this afternoon, and I'm hoping that Brendan and family, like everybody else, see the kind of entertaining game that Gary is just describing a few minutes ago, because as I've just been saying to Brendan, you can never guarantee it's going to happen every week. Football's not like that. You can't guarantee anything. But as we all know, most games this season, Sunderland have actually played very attractive attacking football.
Well, it should be better than last week anyway.
Well, I certainly hope so, because that was a case of obviously Reading came to spoil the game, succeeded in spoiling the game. You might remember this time last week you told me who the referee was. I didn't know, and you said,
you said
your shoulders slumped when I told you the name of the referee, and I said before the game when he was.
So can you hear me all right? Is the commentary not too loud and that? So look, I'll catch up on the chat.
Well, now that he's
just like your sunny side is there, says George Pitt. It's Naki well split for Bristol City today. He's quite a dangerous player. Who scored against us the other night? Clark, he's decent. Yes, Jack Clark. We've got him from Leeds. Millwall just took the lead against Sheffield United.
Very, very happy, and rightly so.
That means Sunderland are back down to 6.
I think referees have got to get on top of the ridiculous time wasting. People call it game management these days. It's a euphemism for just spoiling the game.
Well, it did. Gavin Ward's the referee this afternoon. If you need a reminder who he sent off Elliot Embleton at Hull earlier this season in that 1-1 draw. He was also the referee for the game at Swansea, which Sunderland lost 2-1. And
Company's a little loud, that's fine, what I can do.
A big shout for a penalty late on in that game.
I can soon adjust that.
I'm not here to have digs at referees. Referees are only human. I know you're not either, Nick. Referees are only human. They give what they see. You know, I'm not going to dig out referees for individual mistakes.
I've turned the commentary.
Every game you watch,
you would hear me. That's okay. Let's have a look.
Camera angles, you think, oh, that's not quite how I saw it.
You can sort that out.
Sending off of Embleton at Hull. I think my son, for instance, thinks that was a red card all day. I don't. I think it was harsh. It was matterless in terms of the red card. Anyways, Elliot injured himself, put himself out for virtually the whole season in that game. But that was the referee's honest opinion. Referees, as I said last week,
should be a lot better.
The one thing I don't question British referees
no problem.
is their integrity.
I'm going to mute now because I'm going to eat my sandwich and you don't want to be here munching away.
Just like the best footballers in the world make mistakes, the best programme writers, the best commentators, the best summarisers, wherever your job is, you all make mistakes. You know, we all make mistakes, myself included. So if a referee makes mistakes, he's only human. But I think over the course of 90 minutes, if you're consistently not failing to referee the game and recognise how teams are spoiling the game, it's your job to deal with that and apply the laws of the game correctly.
We've had this debate on Total Sport. A lot of it we think is when we get the Premier League referees, we've got another one on Tuesday at Rotherham with Chris Kavanagh, is that there's a subconscious reliance on VAR for those referees, and
that point was made particularly at Blackburn
when decisions for them.
Well, that point was made particularly at Blackburn when we had Craig Pawson and he failed to give the penalty for the foul on Clark, which was exacerbated by the fact Blackburn went up the other end and scored a very good goal, and we found ourselves 1-0 down when everybody was adamant that it was a definite penalty at the other end. But let's give credit where credit's due. We had Peter Banks at QPR, and Peter Banks played the best advantage of the season in the build-up to, I can't remember if it was the second or third goal, where it was the second goal for Clark, where he played on when there was a really, really bad tackle. And it would have been the easiest thing to just blow up and let the man who tried to stop the build-up in play succeed.
Cheers, QPR, mate. Thank you very much,
behind the ball. And I believe the referee did go back and boot the player. So credit where credit's due. That was an excellent piece of refereeing, because so often in recent weeks, I think we saw it 4 times in last week's game when the referee blew to give a free kick to Sunderland, when on each occasion they would have rather continue to have the ball because they had the ball and they'd got, if not behind the Reading defence, they got on the back line, and the free kicks just allowed Reading to pull everybody behind the ball again.
Indeed. Very quickly, we've got quite a lot to pack in today. In terms of former players, we've got Gary Hours sat down just in front of us.
Pleasure
here.
To see Gary as always. Had a good chat to him earlier, and what a great servant he was to Sunderland Football Club. Always great to see Gary Hours back at the Stadium of Light.
Excellent, Rob. Thank you.
Cheers. All the best, Nick.
Indeed. Rob Mason, Sunderland groundsman, club historian, you name it. He does all the jobs under the sun.
Groundsman.
Yeah, we mentioned that. Anyway, let's move on. Just a reminder, Sunderland 3 changes today. It'll come as no surprise, the 3 changes are the 3 changes made in the middle of the week. So Neil, Mishu and Ahmad return this afternoon. Bristol City make 2 changes from the team that drew 1-1 with Wigan in the week. Sheffield United at home to Millwall. Millwall are winning 3-2 now, so a bit of I gather Millwall are battering Sheffield United, but 3-2 they lead. BBC Radio Newcastle. Joined now by James Files of Space Northeast. Now this is not some interstellar organisation. It's not Apollo 13 or anything like that.
No. This
is much more grounded and much more important. This is about mental health. And Space Northeast, well, you can give us the background.
Of course.
It's basically you are an organisation or a group that is very mindful of mental health.
Yeah, we are. So we're a community interest company. We started about a year ago. So basically what we do is we help lads free weekly support groups. We've got every Wednesday at the Beacon of Light. So we do that because, I mean, if you're going through a mental health problem, quite often when you go to the doctors, you're probably at the end of your tether anyway. But then when you go to the doctors, you could be looking at a 6 to 12 month wait. And if that's the case, then where do you go? So it happened to me. So I decided, why not do something about it? So basically what we do is every Wednesday, we've got a free support group. The lads come down, have a chat. You know, it's not always sadness, and it's not always deep. It's quite often having a laugh. We've got a lot of lads who are just lonely, just want to make some mates, connect with people. It's trying to build a community as well, you know. So that in a nutshell, I guess, is what we are.
It's been a lot in the news in the last year or so. You will know, and I know people listening will know, Michael McWilliams, big Sunderland fan. I'm sure he'll be in the Roker end today. He lost his son Harvey. The day Sunderland were playing Arsenal in that League Cup quarter-final. And he has become, you know, he's highlighted mental health because of the experiences he's been going through. Of course. Man Health, people I think will be probably very much aware of Man Health, Washington Mind, the other Mind organisations.
Definitely,
Is the stigma surrounding mental health, is it lifting? Are you finding that, because
I think so.
That your group, you're saying more and more people are coming forwards now, which is worrying in its own way?
It is. I mean, it is and it isn't, because I don't think it's necessarily more people are suffering with mental health problems. I think it's more people are feeling to have empowered to be able to come forward and say, you know what, I'm having a crap time. And there's nothing wrong with having a crap time. Ultimately, it doesn't discriminate. So I grew up with an amazing family, pretty privileged childhood really, and I went through something that a lot of people go through with a divorce in the family. That started my depression, and when I heard
we're going to catch Sheffield United in the standings, heard it here first. First of all, we've got to beat these teams in front of us like today. Alessia is a good player. How old is he? I'm not too sure actually.
Laughing, looking like she's on the time of her life. 2 hours later, she committed suicide.
Yeah, and that's what it looks like. You can get used to wearing a bit of a mask. You don't want to often burden people. You feel like you're a burden. You don't want to tell people, because you think genuinely that the world is better off without you, and that's the sad thing, because it's not true. And that's why I think what I want to do is make people realise that that isn't the case. And there's a way you can get better. There is a way you can get better. I appreciate it's frustrating for people when they want to get help and they can't get it, and that's what we're trying to do. Build a community, and try and really give people that's why I call it space. Give people the space to come forward and say, I'm having a crap time, because nobody is immune to this. It really isn't.
I wonder what's the first, maybe the bravest step is that first step, is it to come in and speak to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think what quite often happens, what happened with me, I was at the end of my tether, so I was depressed for around 10 years. I wanted to take my own life ultimately by the end. For about 2 years, I used to think about it every day, and then one day I decided I was going to do it. But something really, really got to me. I got annoyed at myself, and I thought, no, I've got too much to give. And I sort of went to the doctors and asked for help. And that day for me,
okay, QPR man,
that was my sort of turnaround, because it was sort of like felt like an act of defiance for me, you know. But yeah, I mean, listen, it's difficult for people to come forward, and I've got so much respect for the lads who come to our groups, because they have got so much courage to be able to walk into a room full of strangers and say, I need help. That is, wow, that's incredible. But what always happens is, we start the groups, it's a little bit sad, there's quite often tears. By the end, you see people's body language change, you see the mannerisms, they look brighter, and then over the course of months, the most rewarding thing ever is to see people look different, feel different, and tell you that the life is totally different. Because talking helps, and that's what we try and say. We're trying to establish a bit of a campaign with hashtag talking helps, and it's like similar to his man club, it's okay to talk. It does help. It really
Hello
does.
Robin, how are you doing?
It's not a death sentence.
Oh, jammy Arsenal have just scored. They've just took the lead against Aston Villa.
You'll probably know better than I, but I've been told over the last
an own goal in the 93rd minute. Oh, if any Man City fans will be absolutely gutted with that.
Following games.
Not as good as the Aston Villa fans. That'll have hurt them. That
seems to be something that's on the increase.
That's a bad defeat.
I mean, I think probably in the past 2 weeks, and this is no exaggeration, the past 2 weeks, I think I've probably
Millwall
seen 6 or 7 occasions
have beaten Sheffield United, so that puts Sunderland down to 6th place. We drop a place.
You know, ultimately, I came here. I've been a season ticket holder all my life. I was at the last game at Roker Park. I got my head stuck in the railings. Favourite little.
I wonder you were depressed for 10 years.
Yeah, I've got the one cheese, nice cheese toasty,
you know,
a banana,
season ticket holder,
and a crisp sandwich.
And there's a lot of lads like me, and I know there is, from personal experience speaking to them, friends I know. It's really worrying, and what I want to be able to do, and that's why we're doing a walk next on March the 4th, basically to say to lads who come to the stadium, who come to the match, whatever team you support, we're all here, and we can all help. You know, we can all do our bit to help people out by just being present and available for someone to talk to. You know, asking the question, are you okay, but genuinely meaning it.
I was going to come on to that. Yes, this walk then. You're going to walk from Mariners Park in South Shields to
Mariners Park.
the Bob Stokoe
to the Bobby
statue. Benno doesn't want you anywhere near the pitch because he's worried about the grass. So no wandering on the pitch. Don't want all those feet on there ruining the grass.
Because it's bare.
Robin Hood, yeah, but I'm thinking positively today if we get a win today with 10 out of second. Nothing better than a crisp sign, cheese and onion crisp. I've got salt and vinegar.
Basically, I mean, you hope
it won't be an easy game today, Bristol City.
Literally,
even if it's only walking a part of it, or
exactly. So what it is a walk on 4th of March. We're going to meet at Mariners Park at about. I'll be there from 11 o'clock. We'll be leaving around midday, 11:45 to 12ish. So it's an 8-mile walk. It's relatively flat, not particularly taxing. And basically, what the walk is a big outward expression of solidarity for people who come to match, people in the North East who need help. We want as many people there as we can possibly get. You bring your uncles, your dogs. We've got people bringing dogs and kids and all sorts. So it'll be really good. We've got a couple of banners printed. And basically what we want to do is for the whole football community just to say, listen, there's help here, and we're all behind you. You don't need to do that, take that step and go up the bridge. We're all here, and we basically want to show a big outward display of solidarity for anyone going through stuff.
Yeah, challenge for us for sure. The way you played against us, I can only see a win for you.
They were doing a similar series of walks. I walked with Michael from
honestly,
the
supporting Sunderland, it doesn't work like that.
Actually, very cathartic. I think for someone
the amount of times we can play really well and then play absolutely horse shit. You've probably been there yourself. QPR though, I think you definitely need to change your manager because it's just, you were doing superb until the manager left.
I love that, but it's one of the lads who
so frustrating that. Robin Hood, it depends if they sit back, it could be tough. If they come out, we could really burn them with Robertson Clark, Ahmad Clark. Yeah, absolutely. I do think we've got far too much power for them up front.
It's just sort of it's another way of expressing yourself, being able to talk, going on a walk with your mates. And ultimately, that's all it is. It's not deep depression. There's no expectation for you to have a deep conversation. Just to be there, show up, and let people know that you're here for them.
Nothing better than fresh air and talking.
Exactly.
Those days are over, DJ. Not much farther between those kind of things.
Yeah. So we'll be meeting at Mariners Park. I'll be there from 11 o'clock. So we'll be walking.
Just look at the league table now. Millwall have leapfrogged over Sunderland. Level games. If we win today, 9-50-51, we could back overtake them again.
And your group, Space Northeast, that meets every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday at the Beacon of Light. Yes, every Wednesday. Beacon of Light's free. You don't need to sign up. 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Yeah. 7 o'clock every Wednesday.
Brilliant, James. Thanks ever so much for coming
really appreciate
up.
Thank
you,
James.
About that, and good luck with the walk.
Thanks.
And all the work you're doing.
Cheers, gents.
Brilliant.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Top man.
Appreciate it. Thank you. So that's James Files, and that's Space Northeast. And as you say, just a reminder: Wednesday nights, 7 o'clock at the Beacon of Light, and then walk on March the 4th from Mariners Park to the Bob Stokoe statue. So if you can join in with everybody on that day walking, then please feel free to do so. This afternoon, coming up before 3, we'll be hearing from Luke O'Nien and from Tony Mowbray. The Sunderland team this afternoon, just a reminder: Patterson in goal, Hume, Ballard, Bart and Elise, Neil, Michoud, Roberts, Ahmad, Clark and Gelhardt. And the bench is Bass, O'Nien, Barr, Pritchard, Liadji, Ekwa and Sirkin. Bristol City, it's Max O'Leary in goal, Tanner, Viner, Atkinson and Pring at the back, James and Williams.
Bloody hell, Arsenal are now 4-2 up.
And then Alex
Scott, it was 2-2 in the 90th minute, I think.
And Sam Bell up front. And the Bristol City,
that's mad. The 93rd minute, they went 3-2 up with their own goal. And in the 98th minute, they've gone 4-2 up.
And Thomas Callis. Those are the two teams this afternoon. Plenty going on today. There's unusually quite a lot of games in the Premier League at 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. But there's a very big one in the Championship as well, currently taking place at Bramall Lane. There was a game last night as well. There was rugby last night. Ironically, it was at Bristol, at Ashton Gate. Bristol against the Newcastle Falcons. Rounding it all up, rounding it all up, the inestimable Colin White.
Thank you very much indeed, Nick Barnes. In fact, we'll start with that game.
Hi from Japan. Hope the boys can do it. Well, O'Neill, welcome to the channel, mate.
Sheffield United 3-2. A Tom Bradshaw hat-trick is what's done it for Millwall. Tommy Doyle, James McAtee, Sheffield United's goal scorers. But Millwall 3, Sheffield United 2. The early game in the Premier League has finished as well. Arsenal have gone back top of the table, but only just. They have won 4-2 at Aston Villa, but only because they scored twice in second half injury time. And Emi Martinez own goal, and then Gabriel Martinelli making absolutely sure. So Aston Villa 2, Arsenal 4. Villa had been 1-0 and 2-1 up in that one. They were 2-1 up at half.
That's it. I've had my dinner. My lunch. Feel a lot better now.
2 o'clock in League 2 as well has Northampton 1-0 up on Grimsby. Sam Hoskins has scored early on in that one. In non-league then, Gateshead have their longest trip of the season. They're away to Southend United. Just one defeat in the last 10 games, Gateshead, in all competitions. We'll keep an eye on them this afternoon. Blythe Spartans in National League North, second bottom of the table, taking on Kettering, who are 18th at Croft Park. They need a win from somewhere, do Blythe. Top of the table and seemingly cruising towards the NPL Premier Division title, South Shields at home to Matlock Town this afternoon. In the same division, Morpeth are away to Marine. But our featured game today...
You're welcome, Neil. I mean, I know the other channels,
Dunstan hosting Stockton.
they like to chat a lot. It's not actually the live commentary.
Game of football you've ever seen this afternoon.
Well, that's right.
And I like to basically give the fans as much commentary as possible, and less chat from me, for unless people ask questions. DJ, may I say thank you for welcoming me into your chat channel. You know I'm always respectful in the comments. Yeah, you're welcome anytime, Cube. Yeah, mate. Don't forget, keep me updated on how your team's getting on today. Love the Neil, love the channel. Yeah, thanks Neil, thanks a lot, mate.
By sitting in the stand, yeah, it'll be very difficult to get the ball down and play. But these two teams love to play football. I've seen Stockton play, and they play lovely football. And just looking at Dunstan's team, full of footballers. So I think they'll have to change their style, both of them today. So it'll be interesting to see how it does. But when I was here, when they played Long Eaton, they got beat 2-0 and they were bullied out of it, really. I'm expecting a bit more from Dunstan this afternoon. I mean, Stockton are second in the league and Dunstan are fifth. Both in a playoff position, so hoping for a good game this afternoon, Colin. Here.
Yes, you're on a bad run of games, Paul, in terms of in terms of not seeing the sides win that we've sent you to go and see.
I've never seen them score a goal. Never mind win.
There is that as well. Yeah. We couldn't possibly have sent you to Southend this afternoon. It's a long, long way, longest trip of the season down to Essex for Gateshead. I'm sure you would have. But lingering in the background is the prospect of a Wembley visit, because Gateshead in the quarter-finals of the FA Trophy, and a bit like when we talk about Newcastle and they've got one eye on the League Cup final next weekend, Gateshead will just have half an eye on their trophy run at the same time, won't they?
Oh, they will. I mean, you know, first of all, they've got to survive and they've got to stay in the National League. But when you're in the quarter-finals and you've got a home draw against a team which you will start favourite, and then that would put you into the semi-final. And lucky enough, if it was the semi-final,
I think Stewart's the top scorer, if not Clark. Anybody can correct me on that chat there.
You know, as you said, Colin, only 2 steps away from Wembley. So, you know, we've got Newcastle going down, and I hope they get a result. And then hopefully we've got Gateshead going down as well in the FA Trophy.
Indeed, and not beyond the realms of possibility that Sunderland are there in a playoff final come the end of the season as well. It could be quite the second half of the season for us. Thank you to Paul Dixon for the moment then. Dunstan against Stockton. We'll get updates throughout the afternoon from Paul. Also in the East Division today, Hebburn are at home to Ossett United. Consett are away to Bridlington. North Shields also on the road away to Grimsby. Borough
Stewart is the top scorer, eh?
At home to Broomhill. No women's championship.
Well, of course it doesn't help with
an international weekend.
Stewart not hardly played at all this season.
United's game against Liverpool is our second commentary of the day. It kicks off at 5:30. But this morning we got the tragic news that search teams in southern Turkey have found the body of the former Newcastle footballer Christian Atsu in the rubble of his home. He was playing for the Turkish side Hatayspor. He was just 31 years old. He spent 5 years with Newcastle between 2016 and 2021. The Ghanaian sports broadcaster Michael Otiaje says the nation's football team has lost a lovely human being.
I remember very well interviewing Christian for the BBC after his competitive debut for Ghana against Malawi at the Accra Sports Stadium. He was 20, very shy, walked into the interview room, but he spoke quite intelligently. there was a lot of expectation on him, and I think that he handled it pretty well.
Lots of tributes being paid to Christian Atsu today. A Newcastle United statement earlier said, "We are profoundly saddened. Christian was a talented player and a special person. He will always be fondly remembered by our players, staff and supporters." Today's game at St James's Park kicks off at 5:30. Like I say, Matthew Raisbeck and John Anderson will begin their build-up.
It's good if you can score from different positions. We rely too much on one player. Good chance either could Clark or Ahmad end up top scorer. Yeah, it does help if you're getting a lot of people scoring from all over the park.
Beaten by 30 points to 12 at a sodden Ashton Gate last night. Flanker Gary Graham, hooker Jamie Blamire, the two Falcons try scorers, but it was also a night of missed opportunities for the away side. Here is the Falcons head coach Dave Walder.
Disappointing. I think I spoke before the game on the television about a bit of rust and hoping we'd be able to dust ourselves off that rust early on, and I don't think we ever did, and we got a few disruptions with injuries to people pretty early on, but you know, just disappointed that we weren't able to execute in the first half, take our opportunities, and I thought Bristol were pretty clinical and played pretty well.
So that's Dave Walder. The win lifts Bristol off the bottom of the table. The Falcons drop to 10th. Also last night, Gloucester inflicted a 5th straight defeat.
That's great to see. Stu is the top scorer. How many games has he played? I don't think he's played that many games. I don't think he's in double figures, to be honest with you.
Newcastle Eagles lost in Bristol last night as well, beaten 81-75.
8 games or something? I don't know.
In basketball's BBL, Justin Gordon led all scorers for the Eagles with 23 points, who were actually never more than 8 points behind at any point in the game, and did lead a couple of times, but beaten by 6 in the end. They are back in action on Sunday. This is the men when they face Plymouth City Patriots. The women are also in action today. They're away to Essex Rebels. That's about as long a trip as Gateshead have got. At 4 o'clock today in the quarter-finals of the WBBL Trophy. They then go away to Nottingham Wildcats tomorrow evening in the Championship. And speaking of the Championship, Durham Palatinate taking on Cardiff Met Archers as we speak. And with about 5 minutes to go in the final period, they find themselves 13 points down. It's 65-78 to the Archers at the moment. A pretty heavy second period loss is what's put them a long way behind, and they were ahead after the first quarter, were the Palatinates, and then actually won the third quarter to sort of drag themselves back into it.
Lyndon Dukes plays better for Scotland than he does for us. I'd have to go count. He's had 2 injuries this season. Can't be any more than 16. I don't think so.
Championship tomorrow. They've won 1 and lost 1 of the 2 games so far this season. Have Thunder. And in ice hockey's North Division 1, Whitley Warriors welcome Billingham Stars to Hillheads at 5 o'clock tomorrow. A couple of other things. On the other side of the world, England's cricketers closing in on victory in the first test against New Zealand at Mount Maunganui. They had reduced New Zealand to 63 for 5 in their second innings at the close of play today. The home side still needing 331 runs to win. Stuart Broad took 4 wickets. He and Jimmy Anderson moving past the Australian greats of Glenn McGrath and Shane Warne as the leading wicket-taking partnership in Test history. At the Women's T20 World Cup, England looking to make it 3 wins from 3, and they are batting first against India in Gabeka. They struggled a bit at times. They eventually made their way to 151 for 7 in their 20 overs. So India yet to start their reply. They were in trouble a couple of times, England. They were 10 for 2 at one early stage, but they've set India a target of 152. And finally, in Rugby League, St Helens beat the Penrith Panthers 13-12 in Sydney to win the World Club Challenge.
QPR better quality close to Havenfield comparison.
In Australia since Wigan did it way back in 1994.
No, I don't think it's any more than 16 goals.
Back to the Stadium of Light, the build-up to Sunderland versus Bristol City, continuing with Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett, who are back after this.
The Make a Difference Awards.
Everyday acts of kindness make a huge difference to people across the North East.
I run a boxing and fitness club.
I created the Wounded Highlanders.
I have a passion to make dance inclusive.
Basically, I supplied the QE with PPE.
We want to honour and recognise those who make a difference where we live.
Make a difference.
For a full list of categories and details of how to nominate someone, go to bbc.co.uk/makeadifference, where you can also see full terms and our privacy notice. Nominations are open now and close on the 5th of March 2023 at 11 p.m.
Together, we can make a difference. BBC Radio Newcastle.
Total Sport.
On the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
3 changes for Sunderland then this afternoon. The 3 changes that were made in the middle of the week at Queen's Park Rangers, which means Luke O'Nien's back on the bench. But Luke O'Nien is enjoying his football at the moment. He scored his first championship goal on Tuesday night at Queen's Park Rangers. I spoke to him after the game.
Luke, I don't know if it was tongue-in-cheek from Tony Mowbray the other week, but he said, Danny Bart's never going to play up front and you're never going to play in central midfield. I don't know if you've shown him a show reel now of all the clips of you playing in central midfield to convince him that you actually can play there.
Yeah, I keep telling him I'll score 15 goals a season up front, but do you know what? We really enjoyed this evening. From back to front, the subs that came on, just a top night, and the fans as well. Like, really good evening.
It could have been a difficult night. They've got a few problems here, and first goal perhaps arguably going to be the most important goal tonight.
Yeah, listen, I think knowing their record, I think they've only won 1 in 10 coming into this, so getting
Neil, there's a pin post at the top if you want to have a look. You'll be able to see the team I've posted, mate.
We got the goal, solid defensively, and when we needed Patter as well, he delivers as always, the postman in the goal. So
we produce a lot of good players. As an example.
Very good. And are you going to try to persuade Tony Mowbray you're a number 9 because you're in the right position to stab that home on the goal line?
Yeah, I'm really deadly from an inch out. No, I just listen. As always, I said to the gaffer, I'll play you where you need me. If it's a job off the bench, if it's if I'm coming on or if I'm starting, I'll do the best job I can for the team. And,
you're welcome, Neil, lad. Just have a look, have a browse.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. We got 2 boys at the back are just monsters, in the best possible way. Pritch helped me out in midfield because it's been a long time coming since I've played there for a while. I think I signed as a midfielder and I've probably only played there 3 times, and that's this season. So just everywhere, it was really enjoyable. The subs that came on as well were different class. They really impacted the game and involved in kind of the 2 goals as well and seeing it out. So just a top job all round, and an enjoyable kind of travel back as well now.
It will be, and I mean Tony Mowbray's been saying how he's been trying to implore people to just take shots from outside the box and just try and be a bit more ambitious in that sense. And you were doing that. You were taking shots from. You were a bit unlucky, weren't you? Because the keeper spilled one and nobody followed through.
Yeah, I'll shoot from anywhere. I'm not sure 100% where it's going to go all the time, but we're working on it in training. We know how we need to improve as a team. We're the team that started in the Champions season. I think we've come a long way. I think we still got a lot more we can go, which is good. Like, we're a very ambitious team. We know we can do more and keep being better, and that's what we're striving for every time we, step across the line and at the training ground or on the pitch.
Strange, isn't it? Because over a year ago we were here for the League Cup, and you beat Queen's Park Rangers, and at the time, being a League One club, everyone said, well, that's the level you've got to achieve, and actually you didn't look out of place at all that night. And so it's turned out now this season you've been more than a match for anybody in the Championship.
Yeah, I think it's credit to the to the whole of Sunderland, from the recruitment team to the people upstairs, and also all the the staff as well that work really hard with the players, and obviously the players that go out and work really hard for each other. It's a real good marker to see how far we've come. Like you said, the cup game that we didn't dominate, and we come here today and we've put in a really good performance. So just well done to everyone at Sunderland, and we've just got to keep going, driving the standards. It helps when you've got people like Pritch, Ahmad, DB, both people at the back who've they've been to the very top, and they're kind of instrumental in the changing rooms. The things that people don't see, they set the standard in training, and I think they've brought everyone, including myself, performances up, because when you play with that sort of intensity and class week in, week out in training, it can only make you a better player. So I think a credit goes to a lot of the senior players that have, and Ahmad, and players that just keep raising the standards, and I think everyone's looking to kind of improve off one another, and I think you can see that in the team's performance today.
And you've been on quite a remarkable journey, haven't you? I know you've spoken about it, but I mean, to be here now and talking in the way you are about that game tonight and how much you've enjoyed it is proof is that you just got to keep striving, haven't you? You've got to keep going.
Yeah, I think it's whatever happens in football, it's you just got to pick yourself up and keep going again, and that's what we've all done. We didn't have the success in the past that we all wanted as quickly as the promotion we wanted to get, but I think that teaches us the lessons that we're thriving on this season. We never dismiss history. I think it's the making. I've always said it will be the making of the club spending so long in League One, that you rebuild, you build stronger foundations, and you make sure that you're only up from here.
Total Sport.
Live from the Stadium of Light.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
As always, effervescent Luke O'Nien. Let's hear now from the Sunderland head coach. I caught up with him on Thursday lunchtime to look ahead to this game and to talk Sunderland. Is Tony Mowbray.
Tony, you used the word collectively, and there's this group of players, this team.
DJ, what do you think the team will decide on Stewart now that he's done for the season? I think he'll be with us next season. If anything, that's going to deter anybody else going in for him because he seems to be always injured. That's what I think.
For some years, I mean, we're probably talking 5 or 6 years since the club, maybe even longer than that, has been in this position. But I suppose you're always mindful that, in football things can change very quickly.
Yeah, I think that's the guard that you always have up, really, to because I've said I've been in football a long time, and it's the most dangerous when it's going well. You've got to keep your guard up. I've got to keep the confidence and belief of the young players wanting to play and enjoy the football and play with a confidence about themselves. But as you saw the other night, who knows if the penalty had gone in, who knows we'd have been on the back foot, they'd have been right on the front foot, and it might have been a different result. And yet, just the next game's around the corner, we have to prepare and be ready and give it our best shot, and let's see what Bristol City bring to the party. But I think collectively everybody deserves credit for being, and I've always said, good people, good human beings. Football is a people industry, really. I know it's about footballers, and your centre forward can do amazing things, or your goalie's amazing at this, and yet they're all human beings and good guys, and I see them every day enjoying each other's company and working hard together, and whether they're playing darts or pool or something like that after training, and it's, they're collectively very tight, and we have to. My job is just to keep that environment ticking along, really, but having to have a line of discipline along the way where they know what parameters they can work within and what they can't. And so, but overall, when you have good people, you don't generally have to crack any whips. They live within the boundaries that are set, and this moment they all seem to be in a good place.
I mean, you spoke about Patrick Roberts after the game on Saturday and lifestyle choices, and this is a very young team. I wonder how important your likes of your Danny Barts, Corey Evans, etc. are in this environment in terms.
I'd love Neil Warnock to come back to QPR, top manager. That's what I was thinking. Hoping QPR, Warnock ain't got Adel Tabat this time.
Showing some people around the training centre this morning, and I walked into their dressing room and they were having a little meeting about the fine system, and it's just good to see that they're self-governing.
Yeah, I think a lot of Sunderland fans are in dreamland at the minute where we are position-wise. Our aim this season was just to stay up, and that was it.
To self-govern within
crazy
to know the standards that we live by and what we do, and they manage it. It works perfectly.
Cheers, QPR, man. Thank you.
Them fines aren't going for a night out or something. At Christmas they'll be buying presents, and at times they'll be be giving to charity, and so I think they're a great set of lads. I think I've said to you in the past, I like footballers. Generally they're good guys. Generally they've left school at 16 and gone to become footballers, and so they aren't overly educated, but they are good human beings, good morals, good values. And sometimes football can get a poor picture of of a superstar with his Lamborghinis and his Ferraris, but I'm sure none of these lads are driving Lamborghinis and Ferraris, and they're working hard and trying to be better, and helping the club on a journey, as I talk about, and at this moment the journey's still going in the right direction.
Luke O'Nien's spoken a lot lately about his journey and what he's been through at this football club, and he spoke on Tuesday night
after
the game about even it's 26, 27. He says, I'm learning from Dan Neil, who's 21. Dan's
how are you doing?
Him
great
football.
Yeah, good. Listen, I I see it behind. I call it looking behind the eyes.
Can you hear me okay now?
Whether they're interested or whether they want to learn, whether they don't, whether they're actually
focused
in on what you're telling them, and I feel that they are. They are listening.
Well, as we know, Sunderland have dropped down to 6 because Millwall surprisingly beat Sheffield United. That's 2 defeats on the bounce now for them, 3-2. And Arsenal were very lucky today, 2 goals in the 90th minute to beat Aston Villa 4-2.
Knowing that they're on this journey, hopefully back to be able to go and play in the Premier League collectively.
Oh dear me!
Somewhere along the line,
it was an own goal by Aston Villa as well.
By the wayside, for whatever reason, you know, football is a competition within a competition. If you sign better players and you put them in the team, and
sound is good. Thanks.
Somebody is going to drop off the end, and it might be a really great guy, but as long as it's done in the right way and there's respect all around, I think that's just the competition that modern day professional football is really. You can only pick 11 players and there's only so many subs, and the best clubs, whilst you're doing all of that, keep the collective of the dressing room strong, and they don't allow bad influences to become the dominant influence.
You've got this.
There's a lot of Sunderland fans saying we can catch Sheffield United, but I think they've been smoking too much weed, to be honest with you. There's absolutely no chance that's going to happen whatsoever. We can't get carried.
It sounds like it looks like, and it is only a few games, that you may have cracked
10 points.
That issue.
10 points if we win today.
Patience, is it? What is it that suddenly you've now?
That's not going to happen, is it?
Oh, I think fine margin.
It's just not going to happen. No.
That's why I'm wary to say, listen, we're flying at home. It's every game is really tough. You know, we have got a lot of talented players at the top end of the pitch, but you know, as we've found against Reading, it's not easy to break down 9, 10 men behind the ball constantly, and particularly the way we try and pass through that block rather than go over the top of it and have a 6'5" centre half who can win the first flick on it. It's not easy, so but let's keep going. I think all we'll try and do is be brave when we have to be brave. You know, you've seen us pushing full-backs and centre-backs into the box later on to try and turn the game the way we need to, and you know, ideally you're 3-0 up and see the second half out easy, and but that's not always going to be the case, so let's just keep going, and to be fair, it's always nice to win at home for your home supporters, of course, but we shouldn't really be overly.
Well, a bit of trivia for you guys as well. Bristol City beat which team 2-1 on the.
I hope the fans felt as if the team were fully committed to still try and win, and yet we didn't.
You could be surprised.
Throw that game into.
Yeah, which team did Bristol City win on the 4th of February this year?
Story that we're not doing too well at home, and yet I feel
have to do some research.
Competed and ran and fought and chased and tried to be brave at home. Sometimes if you don't break teams down and they score from a set play, or the ref gives a dodgy penalty, or
I just can't believe they still haven't got a manager. I mean, there's not many games left, is there? They need to find someone quick.
They're all working extremely hard and trying their best to pick up points as we go.
Game at Bristol City seems a long time ago now. A lot of goals in it, and they were impressive even in defeat. And I think
Jennifer Andrews, hello.
Well, knowing a manager well, does it give you an insight into how they line up, set up, even though you're watching what they've been doing, how they're playing?
Yeah, you get a feel of what they like and what they do. I think Nigel's teams are always very, very organised and very committed. He's got some really talented young footballers, and he's got some experience in his team as well, and I think the balance they're very well.
If anybody does think that, then they're simply on the land of the wobbly nods, aren't they? I mean, it's nice to dream, it's nice to be positive, of course it is, but I mean, there's being silly as well, I think.
I think that they've won 10 games or 8 league games without and I'm not sure where they are in the table, but middle of the table, I think, shows that they were having a tough
Hello Ryan, DJ, 3 points today.
So here they are getting results. He'll be relaxed. He'll be giving his team the opportunity
Preston,
to play in a big stadium with lots of supporters and see how they get on. As at times I've done, really just told them to go and play and be brave. And
that's not impossible.
How talented they are. So we know we've got a confident team coming at the weekend, one that we have to look forward to, the challenge and show our own skill sets on the day, and hopefully we come out on top.
Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett, MBE.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Tony Mowbray, will be hearing from Tony, of course, after the game tonight at half-time in the
morning to the team.
Today, because at 5:30 it's Newcastle.
Don't forget to check on the channel as well to catch up on the Friday football show we did. It's good banter, good crack, so if anybody's missed the show, don't forget we do that show every Friday, so you can catch up on it, and it's quite entertaining.
Is the starting 11 with Bass, O'Nien, Barr, Pritchard, Lihaji, Ekwa and Sirkin on the bench this afternoon. Lovely green pitch in front of us here.
You're not going to let it go. You're not going to let it go. Let it go.
How verdant does that pitch look today?
Huh? How bare?
What green would you describe that? What green is that? There are various shades of green. What green is that one today anyway? It's raining now as well. That just enhances the greenness of the pitch at the Stadium of Light. The Bristol City team, Max O'Leary in goal, George Tanner, Zach Viner, Robert Atkinson and Cameron Pring are the back four. Robert Atkinson's an interesting story.
Stranger things have happened out midfield with the playoffs, absolutely, Robin.
Youth Academy in France as a youngster, the 24-year-old, and joined Bristol City.
How do you think Dicey will get on with Everton?
And then Oxford United in 2021.
I expect them to stay up, Neil, to be honest with you.
And then it's Mark Sykes, Alex Scott, Anis Mehmeti and Sam Bell up front. The referee, Gavin Ward, in a light blue jersey, leading the teams out here. Delighted to see that Bristol City, those great big bold white numbers on the back of their grey shirts, in their third strip this afternoon. Bristol City, because their away strip is actually white and black with a red stripe running through it. As the flag that says the King, Charlie Hurley, of course, is making it.
Stadium of Light looks quite full. Sunderland flags everywhere in the rocker end.
To our right, Sunderland in their red and white stripes and black shorts, red socks, and as I say, Bristol City all grey with a sort of black chest.
The referees go behind the goal, start checking the nets to see if they're still there.
Max O'Leary in purple away to our right, and Anthony Patterson, who had such a good game at Queen's Park Rangers on Tuesday night, in green again away to our left, as Sunderland at the moment at the north end of the stadium, and one would expect them to stay at that end for the first half, but we'll wait for the toy toss, of course, as the King makes his way towards the southwest corner.
I've seen that a few times happen, you know that.
Plenty from Bristol City away to our left in the upper tier of the north.
Yeah.
Well. And hopefully a much more entertaining game than last week.
Called Ghost Goals.
Not hopefully. The thing is, it will be, because I don't think Bristol City will come with the same, shall we say, a negative approach as Reading did.
No, interesting to see that Reading lost last night. Cardiff beat them 1-0 in Cardiff. Two troubled teams, you could say, at this moment in time. One result earlier today as well. Millwall won at Sheffield United 3-2. And so at the Riverside this afternoon, Middlesbrough face Queen's Park Rangers. That'll be, well, an interesting result, because Middlesbrough suddenly putting pressure on Sheffield United.
Falling in love with you.
Bristol City then about to get us underway.
No volume. And hopefully you'll be able to hear the commentary on here, Robin.
North end of the Stadium of Light on this dull, wet, dreary afternoon. Let's hope they can bring a bit of cheer, Sunderland, as they get the game underway. The Robins, and it's swept out wide onto this left-hand side, trying to find on that wing.
Absolutely, QPR.
The opportunity to press on with Mehmeti, but the ball has been knocked out for a throw to Bristol City on that left-hand side. They make two changes to their team this afternoon. Pring it is, will take this throw on the left. He drops it close to and gets it back on the touchline. Back it comes through Williams, Joe Williams, into the centre circle. Zach Viner plays it out on the far side to George Tanner, and he gets it down the line here looking for Sykes, and he finds his ball down the right side of the Sunderland penalty area, hooked into touch by Danny Barr. Throw then just inside the Sunderland half to Bristol City. Back it comes through into the middle to Robert Atkinson, out towards the right wing again, up on the halfway line, Viner, and the ball forwards is cut out momentarily by Clark, but it's still in the possession of Bristol City. Tanner's looking to get it back, but it goes out for a throw to Sunderland this time. So
Owen lost 5-0 against Southampton.
On the left, Elise to take this. They switched strikers for this game. Nigel Pearson. It was Harry Cornick who played against Wigan in the week. It's Sam Bell, a Bristolian, who starts up front this afternoon for Bristol City on that good run of form. They've not lost since Boxing Day when they lost at home to West Bromwich Albion 2-0. And here's Williams winning it back in the Sunderland midfield. Ahmad trying to get it back, but it comes back to Cameron Pring in his own half. And the former Cheltenham Town, he was born in Cheltenham, defender, plays it back to the goalkeeper Max O'Leary. Again,
Millwall win 3-2, yeah, absolutely right. Millwall played Sheffield United off the park as well.
Yet to win a cap, the 26-year-old. He's put the ball out. It's a throw just down from Tony Mowbray. Hume takes it to Ahmad.
It's his Carlisle playing, lad. It sounded like it was calling from one of the aquariums in Preston.
In the middle of his half, he crashes off the back.
Carlisle.
Sykes, but it rolls in the end to Elise.
Carlisle's in dark blue.
Back to Elise. This inside the Sunderland half. Back to Bart and to Anthony Patterson. Bell trying to run him down, but he passes out to Dan Ballard on this right-hand side, and Ballard drives it down the wing, but it's hooked away by Pring. Back onto Ballard's head, forwards to Hume, back to Dan Ballard, and quickly out to Hume again on the right, and he's lost it to Pring momentarily. Hume wins it back again, brings it down on the floor, and Ballard passes back to Anthony Patterson. So we're 3 minutes into the game, on almost into the third minute, 0-0. Bart plays it out. It's laid off on the far side by Mishu, but out it goes for a throw to Bristol City. They're still in the FA Cup. They will be at home the week after next to Manchester City in the 5th round. Here at the back is Atkinson and Viner. They bring it
Fingers crossed QPR can beat Middlesbrough, yeah.
To Alex Scott, much talked about, the 19-year-old who was born in Guernsey, signed from Guernsey in 2020.
Yeah.
He's won a free kick. Inside the Sunderland half on the left-hand side of central midfield, although it's Dan Ballard who's on the floor at the moment, just nursing his right ankle in front of the referee Gavin Ward.
Yeah, Luton Burnley, that'll be a good game,
stood over him at the moment,
says QPR man.
Having a word, and will help Dan Ballard to his feet. Matty James, former Manchester United.
Well, I tell you what, it's not impossible Sunderland can catch Burnley, is it?
Signed from Leicester City in 2021.
If we do catch Burnley, I will actually manage Preston myself.
With this free kick for Bristol City.
If we do catch Burnley, I'll manage Preston myself.
By Gavin Ward in front of Ahmad. And the line 18 yards out from Sunderland. Patterson in the middle of his 6-yard box. Matty James with his right dinks it up into the penalty area, headed out by Bart, not quite to the edge of the area. Back in it goes from Scott, headed out again, then back it comes in. Bell was trying to swing a foot on it, but it's cleared, and Ahmad is on a possible break. He's got two defenders in front of him, and a pass comes off of Viner back to the goalkeeper. Clark was going through the middle. Carlisle 1, Colchester 0. We're in the 5th minute here. It's Sunderland 0, Bristol City 0. Joe Williams playing the ball across to Zach Viner. And
QPR says you can manage us at the moment, do a better job. Carlisle just scored.
Manchester United youth system. Signed from Carlisle United, though, in 2021, having just mentioned Carlisle. There's Williams from a throw, back out. He gets it back in to the middle to Matty James, back to Viner, then to Robert Atkinson, who scored the only goal in the week for Bristol City.
5 minutes, what do you think of the opening first 5 minutes then? Do you think it's just still yet to be settled?
To Anthony Patterson towards the edge of his penalty area. Patterson rolls the ball down to Dan Ballard at the corner of the penalty area on the right hand side. He's played back into the middle to Danny Bart. Out it comes to Dan Neil. Neil back to Ballard. Ballard out to Hume on the wing. A stab from Ahmad back into the path of Hume, who's tripped by Cameron Pring on the halfway line in this right hand side. The referee wants a word with Pring, a quick word with a free kick. Well, the ball's been knocked back by Dan Neil to Danny Bart, but the ball will have to come back up here for Neil to take the free kick to Hume. And Hume forwards to Ahmad, quickly out here on the right to Roberts. Roberts back inside to Ahmad. Roberts again picking this up, getting it past the midfielder Matty James, but a block at the edge of the penalty area by Bristol City, and they will clear their line.
Bristol City Documentaries, I think, a draw today. I've got a lad called somebody called Bristol City Documentaries thinks there'll be a draw today. Will you be happy with a point today?
Eventually into the middle, where it's won back by Sunderland. Anis Mehmeti, signed from Wickham in January, former Fulham, Spurs and Norwich midfielder. 9 goals he's got for Wickham this season in League One. Out on the wing for Bristol City now. Trying to
good attacking football on a young team. It won't be an easy game, Bristol City. It won't be an easy game.
Mehmeti back to Ballard. Huddersfield 0, Birmingham City 1. Here's Ballard again, bringing the ball out wide to Hume in front of Tony Mowbray. Inside to Roberts. Hume, Roberts, and Hume just a little bit heavy with his touch. Pring wins it back, plays it back to
Next advance wouldn't complain on a
plays
point.
it back to the goalkeeper. Blackpool 1, Stoke 0. And O'Leary passing it out to Viner, out to James, back to the goalkeeper O'Leary. And O'Leary pushes the ball out to the edge of his penalty area and swings it out wide to Pring, who heads it to Tony Mowbray. To throw to Sunderland on this right-hand side, on halfway, 0-0. BBC Radio.
Have Sunderland won more games at home than they have away, or is it vice versa?
Roberts playing it back, laying it off to Danny Bart just outside the D. And he plays it across to Elise, down the line to Clark. Clark looking for
Clark, man.
In the end, it's
he's trying to take too many on, isn't he?
Into the centre circle. Mishu feels he's fouled. The referee doesn't. Out on the left is picked up by Mehmeti. Down the left of the Sunderland penalty area.
You can already see Bristol City are making it very, very tight. They're marking well. They're not giving Sunderland any space at all. Yet Blackpool have taken the lead against Stoke, I believe.
Ball boy throws the ball back to him. Patterson just swings it into the 6-yard box and places it in the middle of the 6-yard line. 0-0.
7 wins away, 6 at home, Robin.
And it's tapped out to Danny Bart. He passes it through the middle. Dan Neil. Neil back to Ballard. Ballard up towards Hume. Southend 1, Gateshead 0. Gelhardt in the minute is a little bit isolated. He's going to jog back into the centre circle. He's looking possibly for Mishu to pick him out now to his left, and he has. And he swings the ball out, Gelhardt, but too far in front of Jack Clark. And it's a throw to Bristol City.
Good intelligent run there by Mishu.
Back to O'Leary. And O'Leary in purple drives this ball up over the halfway line. Elise heads it on. Bounces in the middle. It's just turned back by Williams to Atkinson. And the centre-back floats it up into the Sunderland half again. Elise keeps it in. Looking to lob it up towards Gelhardt. Come back to Williams. And cleared by Viner up to the halfway line. Foot in from Mishu, but it takes it down to Tanner. And George Tanner plays up into the Sunderland half to Danny Bart. Back comes Neil to lay it off to Bart again on the left. Looking for the run of Gelhardt, it's overhit. and it'll roll away into.
You think Gelhardt will get on the score sheet today then?
For a throw to Bristol City. Tracking that to take it, George Tanner. Collects the ball. It's got James not far off. He's got Viner. He might go down the line to
QPR has just said, DJ, you're having a lot of possession. Do you agree?
Onto the ball. The ball won back though by Sunderland. It comes across to Ahmad on the right.
JD thinks he's shite. Somebody thinks Gelhardt's shite, I think.
Goes from Ahmad to Patterson to build again from the back. Sunderland out to Danny Bart. Bart out wide.
Yeah, it's on 0 at the moment, Jacob.
To Clark, inside then.
It's on 0 at the minute.
Out to Elise, back inside to Mishu. Into Dan Neal at the back of the centre circle. Cross here to Ballard.
Who hopes so to boost his confidence?
He's just inside the Bristol City half. Comes off a Bristol City player. Scott for a throw to Sunderland. Roberts will lead this for Hume. Halfway inside the Bristol City half. 12 minutes into the game. Quick 1-2 between Hume and Roberts, but then it just broke down and is brought up to the halfway line by Bristol City, but the pass from James overhit and out it goes on this Sunderland right.
Offside.
In fact, there's an offside as well, so it's a free kick to Sunderland.
What's that?
Ahmad back to Ballard. Ballard to Bart in the D at the edge of his own penalty area, passing it out through the middle. Dan Neal quickly out to Ballard down the line. Ahmad Pring trying to get a foot to it. Ahmad still has it, but then he's surrounded by grey shirts, but back comes Roberts.
I don't know.
But Ahmad's penalised by the referee.
It's not Basildon Bond refereeing today, is it, by any chance?
Players, and he's the one penalised. Free kick then to Bristol.
I don't see anything at all there. Absolutely anything. Where the hell the referee gets that from, I do not know.
10 yards in from touch. And it'll be Matty James, who just squares it inside to Williams, who's thinking about a shot from 30 yards.
What did the referee say? See, they must have seen something we didn't.
Quite a bit of power behind it, but a good 10 feet or so wide of the left post. And it's still
miles away.
And to the 14th minute of the game. Clearance played back by Mishu from the
Sunderland just look a bit compact and cramped going forward at the minute, don't they? There's not much space for them.
Halfway line, and Bristol determined to let it roll out for a throw, which they
passing the ball, we get past the halfway line, we're getting closed down very, very quickly.
Lying on his side. It's going to be a throw to Bristol City.
He's off the pitch.
He's off the pitch. I know.
So what's the referee want to do?
So the referee's come over. The player's getting off the pitch now as Pring finally takes the throw down the line, headed away by.
Definitely need VAR in the Championship. Definitely.
Cleared by Ballard. I'm not quite sure what Atkinson did. The ball, I think, just hit him on the back of his head as it's cleared.
He's not having any luck, is he?
Not at all. It's another throw to Bristol City here.
And they're wasting time now. Look, you know, even a referee telling him to hurry up.
Yeah,
speed things up.
I think they're going to have to make a change here.
Yeah, they are going to.
See what I mean? When Sunderland's passing at the minute, they're closed down very quickly. We're either losing it quick or we're giving passes away.
Another throw this time in their own half on the right. But there's a stretcher call for here. And they are going to have to bring on Thomas Callas.
Can't see from there, really.
Former Chelsea defender. To replace him by the looks of things. So Bristol City temporarily down to 10 men. Clark looked to make a...
Alex Diarlot's his brother, isn't it?
Looked to make a break, but the ball was headed clear.
Lee Jackson, yeah, 2 seconds, mate.
Sunderland half.
22.
And it's Callas, Thomas Callas, the
Thomas Callas, he used to be at
international. Chelsea.
Yeah, just let me know if that's better, Lee. I've just turned the commentary up. Just let me know, mate. Give us a thumbs up.
Chelsea. Signed from Chelsea in 2019. Bristol City half. Foul on Mark Sykes on the far side. Just about on halfway on the right hand side.
You're welcome, Lee.
Thomas Callas again now. bringing this up towards the halfway line. Lifting it through. Ballard gets a foot to it. Offside.
Good line.
Against Mehmeti. Free kick which Ballard will take. Out, though, comes Patterson, and Ballard's allowed to jog forwards. Everyone has down this right-hand side. Patterson just outside the corner of the penalty area on the right.
Do you find it's weird on YouTube? Why does the watching go up? It never. It goes up like 43, 44, then 42, 41. It's like, are people just coming in and then just realising they're not Sunderland fans and then they're just leaving again? Have you ever wondered that?
Ballard, to his credit, just leaps to his feet and will run that off. And the ball is back with O'Leary. He passes it out to Callas, who passes it back to O'Leary. Ahmad goes to close him down. He plays it across to Viner on the other side of the penalty area. Out to James, up to Sykes, out to Tanner, back towards the halfway line into Michoud though, and Michoud laying it off for Clark. Back to Michoud and Neil.
I am. I'm now doing the commentary naked.
Ballard closed down by Mehmeti, plays it back to Danny Barton, who'll play it back to Anthony Patterson. And Sam Bell again goes to chase him down, but to Pring, to Callas. Gelhardt gives chase across towards Viner, and Clark blocks the clearance. It's a goal kick to Bristol City.
Good closing down by Gelhardt and Clark.
Nigel Pearson's having a word with Mehmeti.
We talk about Reading wasting time. Tell you what, these are in the same.
They're not quite in the same bracket.
Not the same bracket, but
yeah.
they're killing. Look,
they're
killing
trying to slow
the game
things down. Yeah. Yes, they are. And O'Leary now, again, the old kick the boots against the posts trick to waste a few seconds. And here's the goal kick out towards the left here. Up goes Ballard, gets a strong header into.
I don't think so. Ashall just says goal Sunderland, but I don't think we have.
Williams forwards to Mehmeti. Then Mehmeti gets it back again, gets it through to Bell. Bell on the shoulder of Bart. Through to Sykes. A little back heel to Mehmeti. And Mehmeti with his right foot. Oh, he's in off the post. Oh,
good save.
Not gone in.
Good save.
Hello, DJ. Fellow DJ. Travelling back from Watford. How have we started?
Looked like it was going to go in, but it rolled.
So it's 50-50 at the minute, I would say.
Nick, that's a good touch by Patterson, by the way. You know, if you see that again, he's touched that. But good play by Bristol. But I tell you what, excellent touch by Patterson to keep that out.
It was. They played through Sunderland, then it's a short corner. Alex Scott now, a couple of step overs. He gets to the 6-yard.
We just kind of get the ball away, like.
It's not cleared yet, and they're trying desperately to get it clear. Mehmeti puts it into the side netting and wins another corner.
Yeah, well, they're on top at the minute, Anth.
Well, it's all hands to the pump at the moment.
Yeah.
It's a good start by Bristol City.
So another corner from the left-hand side at the north end of the stadium. 0-0. We're in the 21st minute, and it's curled in this time, headed clear by Hume, I think, and it comes up into the centre circle to Zach Viner, off to Joe Williams to his left, and out wide to Alex Scott. Ahmad trying to get hold of the ball, but it's Michoud has to cut across in the end and knock the ball out for a throw to Bristol City, halfway inside the.
QPR says, I think we may have to counter-attack City today.
The left back looks for some support. He finds it in Joe Williams. Williams back to Pring on the touchline. He tried to cut it inside. It came off Gelhardt, but it's come back to James. He lays it off to Viner, back of the centre circle, and a long ball played up towards Mehmeti. Running onto it though in the corner, trying to, is Pring, looking for a corner kick. No,
goal kick.
But it's a goal kick. They were hoping that Hume was going to get a touch to it as he tried to block Pring's run.
Yeah, not the best from Sunderland at the minute. We can't really get out of the ball. We're not passing it very well. We're getting closed down just like there. We're getting closed down quickly. We're getting the ball took off us too quickly. It's all Bristol City at the minute.
On BBC Radio Newcastle at 5:30. The build-up from just after 5. Newcastle United against Liverpool with Razor and Ando.
We need an injection, Nick.
It's like we said
we need a Clark or Roberts.
We need a spark.
Yeah.
A kick from O'Leary. Drops onto the head of Hume. Into the centre, though. It's picked up by Bristol City here. Out wide from Scott to...
Well, at the moment, it looks like we're playing a side like Burnley. It doesn't look like a lower position team like Bristol City. They really are playing well.
Twisting this way, and then out to Pring on the left-hand side. And Pring trying to work a way in, and does so, away from Roberts. He leaves the ball here for James, and out to the left wing to Mehmeti. And Mehmeti, he's trying to get in again. He's fouled, is he, by Hume?
Don't foul.
The referee says yes. Free kick, halfway between the penalty area and the touchline on the left for Bristol City.
Was Mehmeti at Wickham?
He was, yeah.
Busy, yeah.
Well, out of the two teams, Bristol City look like the ones that are going to score first.
Today.
Signed in January.
Got to defend this.
James again with the free kick. Plenty in the box for Bristol City in their grey. It's whipped in, it's headed in the air by Sykes and over the bar for a goal kick to Sunderland.
Yeah,
Is it true the last time we won 2 on the bounce? We were looking for 3 on the bounce and we lost against Swansea, is that right?
We need something.
Bristol City have done an effective job so far of negating.
And they've started to come.
QPR saying it's Naki Wells playing for Bristol City today. Apparently he's a good player.
Over towards the far side, a corridor between the centre circle and the touchline. The ball driven up.
Good start by the lads, but Bristol has turned it on now.
Headed on by Elise. They
won't be able to keep that tempo up though. They will not be able to keep that tempo up.
His ball up is headed on by Danny Bart. Picked up here on the left of midfield. It's won back by Bristol City. Bell on the touchline.
Well, let them have this here. Let them have this here. They won't be able to keep it gone.
And it's run by Bristol City.
Now here we are. Sunderland just, that's a free kick.
Scott, cleared by Ballard, and then Ahmad in the middle. He loses it, and then a trip by James.
Not on the bench. Oh, he's on the bench apparently.
But it's a free kick.
There's a player Naki. He's on the bench for Bristol City. Apparently he's a good player.
Yeah.
You know, when we talk about Jack Clark, I think we're just seeing what he's all about today. A couple of times he's got the ball, he's tried to run with it, he loses it. Frustrating.
But the problem is, we get this whole issue, that debate about Jack Clark.
Yeah.
You don't take him off because suddenly he can explode into the penalty area. And
that's a good ball. That's a good ball.
Proof of that. Now he's looking to break here.
I don't know.
Scott ahead of the defender, down the left of the penalty area.
Nobody there.
The ball back, but there's nobody there in the penalty area. It's gone behind Ahmad and Roberts.
You could play the ball along the ground and it would have gone out what he said.
Left side of the penalty area, almost on the goal line, up to the halfway line. Bell, but then Mishu heads it back to Bart, who lobs it away to Elise on the halfway line on the left-hand side. Forwards then to Clark again. Clark cutting inside and then looking for the run of Roberts down the left of the penalty area, but Bristol City get it clear up to Bart on the halfway line, and then it's laid back off to Ballard, who heads it out again to Mishu. He's battling.
It's a very physical game.
And that's what you've got to. That's what you've got to put up with Jack Clark. Yes, he is frustrating at times, but in another side of it is that he'll do something special and create a goal or score a goal.
Yeah, the 1-1-0.
26 minutes played, 0-0. A free kick swept up towards the edge of the Bristol City penalty area, but headed back to Max O'Leary. It appears to be raining quite hard now, I think. Huddersfield 1, Birmingham City 1.
I think I'll have to double check it.
On this left-hand side and forwards up to the halfway line.
Giving a lot of free kicks away, Bristol City.
It's one off in by Ahmad.
Come on, Sunderland.
Ahmad back, Mehmeti pulled the top of his shirt. The referee's having a word, and
that's a booking. He stopped him from progressing, hasn't he?
Yeah, he did, and I think he's getting a stern.
That should have been a yellow card. I mean, he pulled him by the bloody neck. That should have been a yellow card, for God's sake.
Where's he going now? Where's he going now? Come on then, referee.
Mehmeti is testing the referee's patience by walking right up to the ball. Gavin Ward urges him back 10 yards. Interesting, he hasn't used the spray this time. He can't be bothered to run back from the middle of the pitch, I don't think. So Robertson with this free kick curls it to the edge of the penalty area, headed on by Bart straight at the goalkeeper. Bart on the 18-yard line, trying to flick his head and get some power on it.
I don't think Sunderland have had a shot yet, have they?
Ball up the other end to Dan Neil. He heads it down now, looking for Michu, who holds off Tanner. Gets the ball out to the left wing, back inside to Dan Neil, now looking for Jack Clark, but cut out by Tanner. And Tanner looking for Bell, looking for Tanner's run down that right wing. It's gone out though. And it's a throw to Sunderland. 28 minutes. Yeah, we're in the 28th minute, 0-0. Elise slides in. Ball's out for a Bristol City throw. Bristol, who had to make the unforced change after a quarter of an hour after Atkinson injured himself. Ball is at the back with Callis in the middle at the Bristol City half, out to Viner, up to the halfway line to Scott, out to Tanner on the touchline. Scott again, back to Tanner, back again to Viner, just outside the penalty area on the right.
Oh yeah, Sunderland get a goal, shut these up a bit,
who hooks it out into touch on the Sunderland right halfway inside the Bristol City half.
We had one, Bristol 5.
The throw from about 15 yards inside the half. Ahmad's on the ball, he plays it back to the back of the centre circle, Danny Bart. Now Elise over on the left and down the line to Clark, a few yards, back to Aji Elise, inside to Michu, back to Bart and back to Patterson. Patterson passing it out to Ballard on the right, and then out wide again to Hume. Hume with Pring on his shoulder finds Roberts. Roberts on the right here now, getting inside Williams, taking it down the touchline, but then instead of pushing the back, the referee is not going to give a free kick. It's a throw though to Sunderland, which again is left. No, Roberts takes it this time into Ahmad, but Scott's got it, the better of him on the shoulder, and down goes Scott, but no foul. But Roberts picks up the ball and is tripped. Free kick, right side of midfield, halfway inside the Bristol City half. Roberts just a little bit too much for Bristol City in that instance. As we come up towards the half-hour.
Don't forget, if you hit the chat, hit the subscribe button and click the thumbs up if you can. Thank you very much.
That perhaps doesn't tell the full story with Bristol City having not lost since Boxing Day.
Sunderland to win 2-1, says Ashel.
2 wins in the last 3 at Preston and at home to Norwich, and then they drew in midweek at home to Wigan. So this free kick is going to be taken.
That's a bad free kick.
On the right-hand side.
Offside.
By Michu into the hands of the goalkeeper. It's dropped. In fact,
foul on the keeper, I think.
And there's a foul in the penalty area. Goalkeeper caught the ball, was fouled. It's a free kick to Bristol City. Clark jogs back across to the left-hand side. Still 0-0 then, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. O'Leary pops the ball down. Bristol City, urged by him.
What's your thoughts on how Sunderland have been on the half-hour mark then?
Between the centre circle and the touchline on the far side. Bristol City defending the Roker end in this first half. The kick over the head of Elise. It drops for Bell, Sam Bell, wide on the right, looking for Scott at the corner of the penalty area. He's forced out towards the touchline, then it's stabbed out by Clark. Throw to Bristol City. And they're all grey and black.
Yeah, I don't think we're getting into it yet. To be fair, Bristol City are playing well. They're not doing a Reading, they're not playing scruffy. They are having a go, they're coming forward. They're making it difficult for Sunderland. But I'd still think we've got the skill up front to go and tear them open.
Comes along the touchline and lost by
his first touch let him down there. First touch.
Can he get on the end of this? Gets it, pokes it past Callas, and then gets another touch to it, but it's a bit heavy, and O'Leary's able to go and get it at the bottom corner of his penalty area.
Unlucky.
Nearly opened up for Ahmad. Nearly a breaking of the deadlock, which is desperately what we really need in this first half. But it is still 0-0, and Max O'Leary seemingly in no hurry to get this ball downfield. Everybody jogging towards this left-hand side. The kick follows eventually.
Keeper's ball.
Be headed forwards by Bart off Bell, and it could break for Clark here on the left-hand side. O'Leary has to chase out. He swings his foot through it.
Done well, the keeper there, though. Good goalkeeping.
Excellent.
Beat Clark to it. Throw then on that far side. Clark drops it to Roberts. Leaves it for Clark on the touchline. And then it's tapped forwards to Gelhardt. The Viner gets in front of him and allows the ball to run out.
Won't last.
In the 33rd minute, it's 0-0 here at the Stadium of Light.
And I think the worry for Tony Mowbray is that there's nothing happened in the Bristol City's box, but there's been a couple of incidents in the Sunderland's 18-yard box.
Mehmeti's looked lively, hasn't he?
Yeah.
DJ, would you take a point? I mean, yeah, I mean, as long as we didn't lose.
They've managed to keep him a bit quieter in the last 10 minutes, but here's Pring now. Ahmad on his shoulder. Pring holds him off and plays it back. Cameron Pring to Zach Viner. And then out wide to George Tanner. Just inside the Sunderland half. Back to Joe Williams. Back again to Zach Viner on the right of midfield. He squares it to Thomas Callas. And the Czech international, 28 caps for the Czech Republic, swings it down the left wing and over Mehmeti's head, the Albanian, out for a throw to Sunderland. Quickly taken by Trey Hume, gets it back from Ballard, down in the corner. Ballard digs it out again, floats up towards Roberts, but Pring heads it forward straight to Hume, who's got it inside now to Mishu. And Mishu lays it off to Danny Bart, but points forwards, but it goes wide left to Elise. Clark makes his run. It's a good ball over the top. Clark trying to get the better.
See what I mean? They're just cutting us out, Bristol City, every time we're trying to go forward. They're there again. They're just clearing the lines well.
Intercepted by Tanner. It crashes though off of Clark as he tries to clear, and Viner has to turn it into touch. Nearly a little bit of good fortune for Sunderland, but not quite. Harrogate 1, Crewe 0. Down the left wing, Sunderland trying to get forwards again. Mishu plays the ball back behind Ballard. Sam Bell.
What's the Middlesbrough game? Still 0-0 against QPR Middlesbrough, I think, isn't it?
Patterson in the D. He drives it down the right wing, but straight to Pring. High ball onto the head of Bart. Forwards into the left of the centre circle. Williams forwards. Hume in there again. Heads it back to Bart. Heads it onto the halfway line. Back it comes down into the path of Dan Neil. Mehmeti fouls him. Now Mehmeti is on a tightrope here. He's been spoken to sternly not that long ago by the referee. That was
Go on.
Foul, but he's not been booked. It's played through the middle now. Neil through Mishu. Side on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Comes into the penalty area. Now looking for Ballard with the inside of his left boot. Tried to flick it in. Flicked it wide.
Gelhardt, great play by Jack Clark.
Yeah,
he's got to make a connection there. Yeah. Gelhardt, connection. It's a goal. It's a goal.
6 yards out.
Yep.
Has he gone with the wrong foot?
Was he not under good pressure though from their manager though, from their defender though?
Missed it completely.
Yes, and it was an opportunity, probably the best they've had in the game so far.
So far, he's not very good, is he?
Yeah, I've been talking, all this talk about playing up front, the number 9 will get goals, but he's going to get them soon. Here, Bristol City out wide on the left wing. Mehmeti halfway inside.
Penalty man, shut up.
Again, he's gone inside. He's found Sykes in the penalty area now. A little nudge. He goes down.
He went down
Bristol
too
City
easy.
Went down far too easily. Pleading for a penalty still, Sykes. He's not going to get it. And the ball is out on the left with Mehmeti. Sykes is too busy still wondering and arguing about the penalty decision. And the ball eventually comes out for a throw to Sunderland on the right. He's still
give out where?
Having a
fucking booked for, what about booked for simulation there, like?
Throw then which Hume will take on this right hand side into the final 10 minutes of the first half. Sunderland 0, Bristol City 0.
He should have been yellow carded there just for being a twat.
It's going to be taken eventually by Hume.
Eventually.
Get Pritchard on.
In it goes to Gelhardt, across to Elise. He's got Clark wide, he leaves it for Clark and he pushes it on quickly to Michu on the halfway line. And Michu...
Game changes every time Pritchard comes on.
Plays it back into the centre circle to Dan Neil.
And yeah.
And now here to Ballard. Ballard out wide again to Ahmad. Ahmad out wide to Hume, back inside to Roberts.
Absolutely.
Roberts still on the right of the penalty area, just behind him Ahmad. Ahmad inside to Dan Neil. Neil comes right again.
No.
Out wide to Hume.
Not a chance.
And Hume, he's got to try and get the ball to Roberts. It's stabbed out for a throw to Sunderland. 18 yards from the right-hand corner. The throw will be taken by Hume. Erin Martin's been sent off for Gateshead for violent conduct down in the South End. Here's Ballard on the halfway line, back to Bart, forwards to Michu at the edge of the centre circle, squares it to Dan Neil.
They're definitely man marking well, Bristol City.
Roberts just inside the Bristol City half and back into his own half. Swings it back in the middle to Danny Bart. Bart to his left to Elise and slightly forwards, and now to Clark on the touchline. Comes back into his own half and cuts along the back of the halfway line. Gets it to Ballard. Ballard wide. Ahmad tries to flick it in and on to Hume, but it comes back to Ballard to nod down.
So Ahmad down.
Trying to find Roberts, cut out by Scott. Ahmad's on his knees at the moment. He's going to get back up. William.
They're playing like this, Bristol City. I can't understand how they are quite far down the league.
But Callas will get it clear up through the middle, looking for Bell. Back it goes to Patterson. Patterson has it then away to our left and just rolls it to Danny Bart. Out to
Luton Burnley still 0-0. Robin Hood says if we can just get the first, I think it opens up more.
Elise, Michu just in front of him. Michu head down, getting down that left-hand side. Scott going with him. He leaves it for
Once
Clark.
again, Sunderland are coming forward on the left and they're just getting easily took off, getting the ball took off them again.
Bristol City have won it back. And then to Williams on the right, looking for a run of Bell. Comes back to Bart. Bart back to Patterson. We're in the 39th minute. Bart out to Neil. Dan Neil turns away from Sam Bell, lays it off to his right to Michu, and Michu out to Ballard.
He's bathing the turkey apparently.
Roberts, left-footed, swinging over to Jack Clark. Clark halfway inside the Bristol City half. Sykes comes to close him down. Clark taking it on, cutting inside and rolling it into the middle. Roberts plays it to the right here. Ahmad still just.
So I mean, there's just nowhere for Sunderland to go. They're closing down really, really well.
He's got Hume in support, but he plays it.
Oh, well played.
Roberts. And Roberts, he's out wide.
Oh, Gelhardt, get him off. He's shite like.
On the right, the 6-yard box, and the back of Gelhardt. His shot on the turn is.
He's wanked him like.
Maybe he should have just smashed it first time. And Bristol City get it away for the moment.
Terrible.
Out to Clark again. Elise on the overlap, down to the goal line, pulls it back, headed away by Viner, drops for Ahmad.
Have you gone back to Leeds?
He looks for Dan Neil now, and Neil looks for Clark on the left of the penalty area, taking it into the box.
Last thing we need is another fucking Will Grigg up front.
The ball crashes off the back of Sykes for Sunderland's first corner.
Great
What surprise
by Roberts, but Gelda, another opportunity for him.
Why is he turning there? Why is he just got 1 foot or something?
Took too many touches. Trying to tee up a shot which was blocked. Now corner then from the left-hand side in the rain, the mist, and Roberts it is going to take this.
Oh, fucking hell.
The ball whipped in.
And I'll tell you, he says, I keep on saying Gelhardt is not the answer. He can't keep up with the pace of our midfield.
Into the 42nd minute. Sunderland
got him from Leeds, QPR.
You know, we talk about that striker, and you know, we've had a couple of incidents there. If we had a out-and-out striker, maybe he might have put them away. And you know, you look at the goals which Sunderland score, and you've got to say that they're not ugly goals, are they? And what I mean by ugly goals is one of them which you just toe poked or whatever. Yeah, Luke O'Nien scored a little bit of one on Tuesday, but overall we don't score any scrappy goals, do we?
No, they don't, and you know, they're looking again to get through the middle here. Michu, a block which has ricocheted a la Kevin Ball in the derby, right up high in the air, but back to the goalkeeper. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 1.
I think this is something which we need to get, we have to get used to at the Stadium of Light now. You know, players, teams taking their time, trying to take the stink out of the game.
Yeah, the referee's come back to the goalkeeper. He's checking the ball now and he's checked it and it's fine. He's dropped it back at the feet of Max O'Leary. And O'Leary then with this kick over the halfway line, down the left. Ballard heads it forward. It comes back again though from Bristol City to Scott, who's tackled by Ballard.
Great tackle.
Out to
Great
Michu,
tackle.
back to Hume at the corner of the penalty area, and Scott's still on the grass. The ball's come out and the referee's going back to see what the problem with Alex Scott is. Well, he's just thrown his arms out on his knees and frustratingly
Hey? Told him to get up.
I think so. And Jason Newell,
Aye, just a bit frustrated at the minute with the way we're playing and where the game's going.
Fourth official.
Serious, he's terrible, says Telly. Getting a lot of criticism as Gelhard.
Cross on that far side to Elise, and then back it comes to Bart from Michu. Michu seeing a lot of the ball in this first half.
He's growing into the game, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's growing into what the Championship's all about.
Yeah.
Here's Ballard on the right, out to Ahmad, just in front of Tony Mowbray, and he plays it back again to Anthony Patterson. Passes it out to Dan Neal. Neal now looking for Roberts. Roberts trying to get away.
Oh, Ahmad, man, for
down the
fuck's
right
sake.
to Ahmad. Down the right of the penalty area now. Just got a touch from Bristol City.
That's solid, that.
Ballard gets it. Again, has to slide in here to get the better of Williams, trying to find Hume, who made a run through, but again Bristol
Look how many players are swarming around the Sunderland players.
Roberts on this right-hand side, and Roberts can't get it into Ahmad. Ahmad trying to win it back, and in the end, Pring is tackled and fouled.
That's not a foul. That is not a foul.
Roberts having a word with the assistant.
He was looking for that.
It went down far too easily, I think. Free kick to Bristol City. Is the upshot though between the penalty area and the touchline. So O'Leary comes across to take the free
Ahmad
kick.
and Roberts, if you've got three guys on you, someone else should be open.
15 seconds of the 45 left to play. The fourth official, Thomas Kirk, comes out, readying his board as Ballard puts the ball high in the air for Viner to head back under pressure from Gelhart. 1 minute and we've got 55 seconds.
Huddersfield equaliser, 1-1.
Callis out to Viner, out to Pring on the left, and he swings it up. Ballard lets it drop over his shoulder, and Sam Bell for Bart to clear. Back up into the Bristol City half, where Pring heads it out. Throw to Sunderland with just over 30 seconds of the first half left. Roberts has got the ball, but he'll leave it for Trey Hume to take the throw back to Ballard. And Ballard back to
It's going to be half time. It's going to be half time, isn't it?
And he passes it out now to Bart. Bart pushing on, leaving it now for Elise on the left-hand side. The rain getting harder. Clark on the left, cutting inside, now drives it across, looking for Roberts. We've played nearly the minute, and Roberts on this right-hand side, and he try and dribble on,
Half
and
time.
try and cut in, but he will be stopped in his path because the half-time whistle has just been blown by Gavin Ward. Yet again, another frustrating half for Sunderland, but they're going to have to find a way through.
They've got to find a way through. Mission accomplished by Bristol City. You know, they would have been thinking, get to half-time, 0-0, not conceded, and then hopefully they might try to quicken things up. and maybe try to score from a set play. But saying that, Nick, they've had the best opportunity.
Yes, Patterson touching it onto the inside of the box.
Yes, we'll do the socials. Just 2 seconds.
Open goal, but it rolled along the goal line, and Sunderland managing to clear their lines. Gelhardt, a couple of half chances. One he flicked wide of the right-hand post when you expected him to have flicked it in. He was only 6 yards out.
He's got to make a clean connection. As simple as that. You know, the first one he's got to connect. He's missed it completely. The second one.
Thanks for the 3 subscribers there. Thank you very much. Thank you.
That opportunity's gone. He probably would have scored.
And I think that's the difference between an out-and-out number 9.
So it's evenly poised. Bristol City's game plan is working.
Blaine Richardson says pitch at an 09 on it. Yeah.
They're going to have to find a way, as we keep saying, to try and get this goal and break Bristol City down and change the game. The second half to come on BBC Radio Newcastle and safc.com. At half-time, it is Sunderland 0, Bristol City 0.
Jack works as a teacher by day, but at night he dons his road-clearing superhero outfit and rides the streets of the northeast atop a salty steed.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
My opportunity to you and your listeners to name my 3.5-ton gritter.
You have been furiously texting as to what we could call it. Names.
Slept in. How's the game gone? It's 50-50, Doug. Bristol City are closing us down very, very quick. They're not giving us any space whatsoever. Gelhardt's dog's diarrhea up front, and I think we need the likes of Pritchard in the middle because the game changes when we bring the subs on.
AKA Jeff. Wow, the Grit North Run is our official gritter, aka Jeff.
The sound of the Northeast at breakfast. BBC Radio Newcastle, making a difference in the Northeast.
Total Sport.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Goalless at the Stadium of Light then at half-time. Goalless just about everywhere else in the Championship as well. We'll come to that in just a second. Sunderland 0, Bristol City 0 at half-time. Back with Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett for full commentary of the second half shortly. 6 goals in the first game of the Premier League this afternoon, and then 2 in all the others. So Aston Villa 2, Arsenal 4, the full-time score in the early kick-off. They scored twice in the last couple of minutes, twice in injury time really. Arsenal had to win 4-2. Aston Villa go back top of the table. And then in the 6 games that kicked off at 3 o'clock, we've had 2 goals. So Manchester City are 1-0 up away at Nottingham Forest thanks to Bernardo Silva. Southampton are winning 1-0 away at Chelsea. James Ward-Prowse has just scored on the stroke of half-time.
Half-time, Holden Middlesbrough now.
His goalless. Brentford, Crystal Palace, Brighton, Fulham, Everton, Leeds and Wolves, Bournemouth. In the Championship, not many goals in here either, to be perfectly honest. Blackpool are 1-0 up on Stoke. Ian Poveda Ocampo after 7 minutes. It's Huddersfield 1, Birmingham 1. Troy Deeney gave Birmingham the lead after 6 minutes. Joseph Hungbo equalised for Huddersfield midway through the first half. Those are the only goals. So the other 7 games in the Championship, which I'm not going to bother listing, are all goalless.
Get the latest team news, score updates and post-match reaction on Twitter at BBC Newcastle.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
League One is where the goals are at. So Accrington Stanley 1-0 up on Shrewsbury thanks to Aaron Presley. It's Bristol Rovers 1, Burton Albion 1. John Marquis early on for Bristol Rovers. Charlie Kirk equalising on the stroke of half-time for Burton Albion. Cambridge United are winning the Varsity Derby 1-0 over Oxford United. Lloyd Jones after 8 minutes. Barnsley now 3-0 up at Cheltenham. 3 different goal scorers in that one. Derby beating Charlton, a David McGoldrick penalty early on, the difference between those two sides. Ipswich 2, Forest Green Rovers nil. Connor Chaplin early on, and then Nathan Broadhead 4 minutes before half-time. Lincoln against Portsmouth is goalless. Peterborough are 3-0 up away at Morecambe. 3 different goal scorers there for them as well. No goals in the next 2 games, Plymouth Fleetwood or Port Vale Exeter City. Sheffield Wednesday 1, MK Dons 2 though. Jonathan Lako early on for MK Dons. Josh Windass equalising. They'd only played 10 minutes at that point. Mo Isa giving MK Dons a 2-1 lead at half-time. And at half-time, it's Wycombe Wanderers 0, Bolton Wanderers 0.
The Newcastle United and Sunderland AFC podcast.
Subscribe on BBC Sounds.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Good few goals in League 2 as well then. The early game, which was a 2 o'clock kickoff, so it's not quite finished, but it's Northampton 1, Grimsby Town 1. In the 3 o'clock games, Hartlepool losing 1-0 at AFC Wimbledon. Ali Al-Hamadi with the only goal of that one so far. Barrow winning away at Bradford City though. Josh Kay midway through the first half. Carlisle winning as well at home to Colchester United. Alfie McCalmont after just 4 minutes of that game. Harrogate winning 1-0 at home as well against Crewe Alexandra. Jack Muldoon with that goal. No goals between Leyton Orient and Crawley. Gillingham are winning 1-0 away at Rochdale. It's Salford City 1, Swindon Town 1. Stockport County 1-0 up at home to Stevenage. No goals between Sutton United and Doncaster Rovers. Mansfield Town 1-0 away at Tranmere Rovers at half-time. And Walsall are 1-0 up on Newport County.
Total Sport.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Into non-league then, not going well for Gateshead down in Essex. 1-0 down at Southend and a man down as well. Aaron Martin sent off at midway through that first half. Henry Sandat had already given Southend a 1-0 lead, so it could be a long second half for Gateshead. In National League North, though, Blythe Spartans are leading. They're 1-0 up on Kettering. Troy Shiabi halfway through that first half, giving Blythe Spartans the lead. South Shields, top of the NPL Premier Division, 1-0 down at home to Matlock Town at half-time. But there have been goals galore in the other game involving one of our teams. It's Marine 2, Morpeth Town 2. Morpeth were 1-0 down and then 2-1 up, all in the first 9 minutes. Ryan Donaldson and Andrew Johnson with Morpeth's 2 goals. They then conceded an equaliser, so it's 2-2 at half-time. Our featured game today is in the East Division of the NPL. Dunstan hosting Stockton, 5th against 2nd. Paul Dixon can tell us how the first half has gone.
Well, the half-time score is Dunstan 1, Stockton 1, and it's been a very, very good game. Very entertaining. There's a decent crowd here. Quite a few come from Stockton, and they're really enjoying the game. I mean, Dunstan went ahead on 30 minutes, but they could have had 2 or 3 goals before that. Dale Pearson had 2 real good chances, and maybe should have took them really. But on 30 minutes he did score. A brilliant through ball by Phil Turnbull was a poor header out, and there was Pearson. Stroked the ball low into the corner net from the angle. A real good finish to put them 1-0 up. And then on 40 minutes, Jim Anderson in the Dunstan goal made a brilliant save dying full length from Glenn Butterworth to keep it at 1-0. But then there was a delay in play where young Swales was injured, saving a chance on goal, and that stopped the momentum for Dunstan. And Stockton got a goal just on before half time. Elliot Beddoe levelled the score when he chipped the keeper. The ball come back to him, and then he chipped him again, and then was John Shaw trying to save the ball off the line, lashed the ball high into the roof of the net to make it 1-1 each. It's a real good game here, Colin, all to play for in the second half.
Thank you very much, Paul. Dunstan 1, Stockton 1 at half-time. Then Consett goalless at Bridlington. North Shields, though, are winning 2-0 at Grimsby Borough. Callum Larmouth and Cameron Cunningham both fairly early on in that game. Hebburn 1, Ossett United 1 as well. Amar Purawal with a penalty giving Hebburn the lead, but they conceded an equaliser later on in that first half. Goalless in the Scottish Lowland League between Berwick Rangers and Broom Hill. Our local football roundup will be at half-time in the Newcastle United match, somewhere around 6:20.
Radio Newcastle were there our first night.
We are your local BBC.
They were the only radio station that came.
And we'd like you to get in touch about absolutely anything.
I would like to record a song, and I would like that song to be played at my funeral.
I think a lot of people listening understand the power of local.
David's been on from Jarrett, says, listen to the show, Matt. Was wondering if you'd give me a little mention to cheer me up. I'm feeling a bit down.
It's North East people on the North East radio station.
Without you, we're absolutely not.
Always been fantastic to us, so thank you.
That's what we do. We can be there for you through whatever comes our way.
And it's not just people, you're not talking like this.
It's your station. I mean, 100% it's your station.
It's helped a lot of people's mental health.
Good or bad, happy or sad, we are here for you.
Together, we can make a difference.
Local radio rock.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Cheers, Matt. Love the show.
Sunderland 0, Bristol City 0 at half-time. Back with Barnsley and Benno in just over 5 minutes' time for the second half. Our second commentary match of the day will be Newcastle United at home to Liverpool. Your commentary team, as always, will be Matthew Raisbeck and John Anderson. Razor joins us now for a quick chat. Good afternoon.
Hi there, Colin.
Now we start, unfortunately, with the sad, if not totally unexpected news we got this morning. The former Newcastle player Christian Atsu has died in the earthquake in Turkey. What more do we know, Reza?
Yes, Colin, it was announced this morning that Christian Atsu had been found dead under the rubble of the apartment that he had been staying in Turkey. That was where he was playing his football after moving there last year, and as you say, he'd been missing since the earthquake on the 6th of February. His
seven games in our league are currently 0-0. So there we go. Let's not panic, lads.
That I have to announce to all well-wishers that sadly Christian Atsu's body was
I'm back on. Sorry guys.
And his agent sent his deepest condolences
yes, DJ, I am
to
a
his
Macam.
family and loved ones. He was an international footballer for Ghana.
Someone's asking me, yo, DJ Earth, are you a Mackham? Yes, of course I am.
A couple of weeks in a statement as emotional torture for them, and they added that Atsu's elder brother and twin sister were at the site when his body was recovered. Newcastle United have also put out a statement today about Christian Atsu, who played at St James's Park for 5 years between 2016 and 2021. He was a member of the side that won the Championship title and promotion back to the Premier League.
You what, mate?
Newcastle say they are profoundly saddened to learn that Christian Atsu lost his life in the earthquakes in Turkey. They
just make it a little bit YouTubey for Sunderland, don't everybody seems to dig
always be fondly remembered by Newcastle.
I could have put the wife's suspenders up, hanging up in the back leg, but
for that, Razor. On today's game against Liverpool, 5:30 kickoff. Everybody that Newcastle fans wanted to.
Hey, somebody called Anthony Mackham's just put a little wave up with some headphones. Hello.
If any at all from the draw at Bournemouth?
Well, the midfield is, I think, an area that Eddie Howe will have some concerns over because of numbers more than anything. With Joe Willock going off at Bournemouth last weekend, although the injury is not thought to be too serious, and they suggested that he could make the squad for Wembley, but maybe not today, that would leave them with Sean Longstaff and Joe Linton. Now, they went to a midfield 2 during the game last Saturday when they picked up a point away from home. They could start that way today and maybe bring in Anthony Gordon for a first start against Liverpool, which I'm sure will be a big game for him as an Evertonian, and having gone up against them a couple of times and caused them problems in the past. So that could be a change to the lineup today, Colin, and it could mean a change of system from the start. Unless Eddie Howe has something else for us up his sleeve, he could bring Elliot Anderson in, but that might be a surprise because even though he's done well from the bench, he hasn't started a Premier League match yet. And regarding Callum Wilson's fitness, he is here, and they were expecting him to resume training yesterday after having some tightness in his hamstring. They will not take a risk with Wilson's condition or fitness, so if he is deemed fit enough to be in the squad,
QPR, absolutely.
It's a question of whether he can start the match and whether Eddie Howe decides to go with Alexander Isak up top alone again.
We will find out in just over half an hour's time. Matthew Racebeck, thank you very much for the moment. Newcastle against Liverpool, then a 5:30 kickoff, and the build-up will begin once the Sunderland match has finished. Our first commentary match of the weekend was last night. Newcastle Falcons away to Bristol Bears in Rugby Union's Premiership, but they were beaten by 30 points to 12 at a very wet Ashton Gate. Gary Graham, Jamie Blamire, the two Falcons try scores, but it was also a night of missed opportunities for them. Here is the Falcons head coach Dave Walder with our Rugby Union commentator Ian Smith.
Disappointing? Yeah, disappointing. I think I spoke before the game on the television about a bit of rust and hoping we'd be able to dust ourselves off that rust early on, and I don't think we ever did, and we got a few disruptions with injuries to people pretty early on, but just disappointed that we weren't able to execute in the first half, take our opportunities, and I thought Bristol were pretty clinical and played pretty well.
In the first half, though, you really had the chances. You had the territory, you just couldn't hang on to the ball in those crucial areas, and in commentary it just seemed that there was just a little bit of anxiety there.
Yeah, I don't know, anxiety, just accuracy.
Doug B says, thoughts on half-time changes? I think he'll hold off. I think it'll be the magic 60-minute mark, won't it? 60, 65 minutes.
Over the line. I think key moments, it just didn't fall our way, and I say we've just got to go away, look at what we can do a little bit better and make sure we do it a little bit better next week.
That's Dave Walder there talking to Ian Smith. Bristol off the bottom of the table, Falcons dropping to 10th. Newcastle Eagles in basketball also lost in Bristol last night, 81-75 in the BBL. The women in action today away to Essex Rebels. They are just about to tip off in the quarterfinals of the WBBL Trophy. In the Championship of the WBBL, Durham Palatinate beaten 85-71 by Cardiff Met Archers earlier on today. Newcastle Thunder are away to Keighley Cougars in Rugby League's Championship tomorrow, and in Ice Hockey's North Division 1, Whitley Warriors welcome Billingham Stars to Hillheads at 5 o'clock on Sunday. But it's time for us right now to get back to the Stadium of Light. Sunderland goalless against Bristol City at half-time. Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett back with full commentary of the second half in just a moment.
Nick Barnes
QPR says, I think you might make this one 1-0.
Newcastle.
So Sunderland about to get us underway for the second half. Just watching the assistants actually when they come out. I've not noticed this before. They have to go and check the nets.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, well, what they expect to have happened in the 15 minutes between them leaving the pitch and coming back on again. I think someone's come out and sabotaged them in the full, in the face of everybody in the stadium. Anyway, Sunderland get the game restarted. They're attacking the.
QPR says we're third at the table at the minute. I don't think we are third. No, I think we're I don't know where we are. We're not.
Of course, Bristol City have made a change in the first half with an injury to Robert Atkinson after 15 minutes, but now they've just lost possession. Sunderland. Manetti's got it down the left. He's come skipping inside of Hume into the penalty area, into the 6-yard box, right through past 3-4 bodies, and somehow in the end Clark's got the ball clear, but straight to a Bristol City player up on the halfway line.
And that's all started through Ahmed. He's got to be stronger on the ball.
And back it comes to Viner, out to James on the right in front of Tony Mowbray, back to Zach Viner, to the goalkeeper Max.
Cheers for the subscriber there,
away to our left.
Tom.
Bristol City all in grey this afternoon, on this grey afternoon, and here's Matty James, and pressure from Mishu, gets the ball back though to.
Final score on BBC's just showed the table. Fourth on goal difference over Millwall.
Plays it square inside, and it's driven up to halfway to Sykes, behind him to Williams, to Sykes again. Sykes is
no, we are fifth. Yeah, Robin's just said sorry, we're fifth.
A throw to Bristol City on this right-hand side, just inside the Sunderland half, which George Tanner, the right back, will take, and he gets it down to Williams and gets it back to Tanner, but on to the head of Elise. He's headed it straight back to Williams, and across on the left on halfway to Pring, the left back, down the line to Mehmeti. And Anis Mehmeti cuts inside here now, and it cuts across the middle, rolling it to Sykes, back to Mehmeti, looking for the run into the penalty area. Tanner, down goes Patterson to slide and catch the ball at the feet of George Tanner. Out to Mishu. Mishu across to Trey Hume, coming up towards the halfway line on the right-hand side, inside to Dan Neal, and Neal.
We don't look great in the back right now. It's a bit scrappy.
Yeah. And Hume leaves it for Ahmad, back to Dan Neal, into the middle to Mishu, and Mishu on the right side of midfield turns and just lays it behind him to Dan Neal, into the centre circle to Danny Bart. Bart out here to Elise, down the line to Clark. Clark cutting inside again, and Clark now on the left of midfield.
Fucking hell, that was a terrible pass, man.
Swing it across.
Get ready for the side.
To Ahmad, but it's bounced over him.
Tell you what,
for a throw.
We haven't started this second half very well, Nick.
We've just gone across now to Professor Denzel Dexter of Colchester University, and he's saying the psiometer for Gary Bennett is 82.5%.
Still though. Bristol City with a throw. Pring to James, then Pring wins another throw. Coventry 0, Rotherham 1.
Rotherham 0.
Oh, Middlesbrough nearly scored there. They've just hit the post. Good save by the QPR keeper.
For Sunderland, full commentary, of course, on BBC Radio Newcastle. 0-0 here this afternoon, and a trip was that on Roberts. The referee, Gavin Ward, says yes. And this free kick, right side of midfield, 25 yards out. In a good position. Ahmad and Roberts over on that far side, over the ball. Gavin Ward marching the 10 yards out, applying the spray just outside the corner of the penalty area. Bart stands with both arms raised just to the left of the D at the edge of the penalty area.
Good quality ball in.
As Roberts is going to take
Too near to keep him, man, for fuck's sake.
Dinked in here, the keeper was reading that all the way, and O'Leary catches that and now quickly kicks up into the Sunderland half. He was looking for Mehmeti, who's come back to Patterson. Out to Dan Neal in the middle. Mishu plays it out to the left to Clark. Clark back to
Joe Coburn, Macam living in Cumbria, don't get much radio signal, so appreciate your setup. I'm in Cumbria as well, mate. Warwick Bridge, just outside of Carlisle, and we've got Wi-Fi, but sometimes it's like carrier pigeon.
Bart out to Elise. Elise down the line to Clark. Clark on halfway, back it goes to Danny Bart. Bart forwards again to Ahmad. Still inside the Sunderland half, trying to twist away from Sam Bell. Taps it back to Bart, and Bart now drives this down the right wing, looking for Roberts, but it's headed away by Pring. It's a throw to Sunderland on the right, about halfway. Quickly back to Ballard, and then Patterson's clearance hangs for the moment in the air, and it's Callas who heads it away from Gelhardt with a free kick just inside the Bristol City half, which Ahmad takes quickly to Roberts. Roberts now trying to get down the right and into the penalty area on that side, but it's won back by Bristol City. Pring gets it away, but it drops for Ballard. Inside to Neil. Neil driving it over to Clark here on this left-hand side. The run from Elise into the penalty area. Clark going back into the middle to Neil, sweeping it on to Ahmad at the edge of the area, but there's two players on his shoulder, and they get the ball
Every single time Sunderland are on the break or on the attack or on the 18-yard box, there's 2 or 3 players around that player. Every single time there's like 2 or 3 players marking our man.
Edge of the penalty area, right foot shot blocked by Danny Ballard at the edge of the penalty area, and now with Clark away on this left-hand side.
Make the passes quicker, man.
To the middle, to Ahmad.
Oh, straight across the box.
Roberts dribbling into the penalty area, down the right, low ball in. 2 inches ahead of Gelhardt. And across it goes and out for a throw.
Great ball in. But how many have we got attacking the ball? One.
Yeah, well, welcome to the chat, Joe, mate. As Paul says, West Cumbria Radio is Carlisle only, and even then you can't get Carlisle on radio on DAB radio.
Throw to Bristol City in the corner on the right-hand side here. And,
well, you can't. You get it on DAB radio, but you can't get it on internet stations.
53rd minute.
But you can get the commentary here, though, so don't worry.
Scott trying to get away. Misha's going to be careful, but Alex Scott's got the ball through to Mehmeti again. Bell in the middle. Mehmeti still going and still going. Ahmad trying to get it off him, but he can't. And then he's finally tackled by Dan Neil, who lays the ball off now for Roberts. Roberts up over the halfway line. He's got Gelhardt in the middle, and now he's still cutting through. Roberts still going, but then shows too much of it to Williams. And he passes it out to James and down the right to Sykes inside the Sunderland half. Sykes into the centre. Williams again. Mehmeti's out wide on the left, and then back inside to Williams. Back out to Mehmeti. Williams again behind him. Into the centre. Played back out by Bell to Pring and Williams, and back into the centre circle to Viner. And Viner wide on this right wing to Tanner. Inside for the return ball to Tanner from Scott into the penalty area.
That's it.
Bart stretching, but he's got the ball out.
Crash.
Played back by Roberts to Elise. But
Marianne Trells, hello there. How are you doing, Pet?
I just think you need to freshen it up a little bit, Nick. You know, you're just looking at me. I just want to do it from a one pace, maybe a little bit of fatigue, leggy.
Yeah, Bristol City look the brighter, don't they, at the moment? Free kick this on the right side of the midfield, halfway inside the Sunderland half at the Roker end.
Bring on a Pritchard or somebody just to
something a little bit different.
Inject some life into the game, into Sunderland.
James, as always, Matty James is going to take the free kick. Curls it into the penalty area, it's in the air. Patterson's going to punch it clear. He's going to draw.
It's like we're playing and like we're stuck in first gear. We're slow, we're sluggish. It's like
but it's a goal kick.
We need something. We need something. I mean, even the atmosphere in the stadium, I like it. It's very, very quiet. There's nothing much for the fans to get excited about. We're very, very sort of predictive when we're going forward. And, you know,
Clark again is under pressure and loses the ball. Sykes trying to get it through to Bell. Bart wins it, and then it's back from Elise to Patterson. Bell picking himself up at the deck. Harrogate 2, Crewe 0. Roberts nearly won a loose ball, but Bristol City have got it back again. Now down on this right wing. It's just poked out by Williams on the shoulder of Clark. And it's a throw to Sunderland, which Elise takes to Michoud. Michoud in his own half, rolls it across to Ballard. Ballard out wide to Hume. Hume just in the Bristol City half, back to Dan Ballard. And Ballard.
Bristol City are playing like a top 6 team at the minute.
Pushes it out to Michoud again, who again has seen a lot of the ball in the second half. Here he is again, Michoud to Clark, back to Elise. Elise plays it back to Patterson. And he passes it out to Ballard, being closed down by Mehmeti. Forwards here to Hume, trying to get the better of Matty James. And James
we're just losing the ball too easy, like.
Trying to play it up to Gelhardt, but he's tackled. And here's Williams, Joe Williams in the centre circle, back to George Tanner, and then Viner. And Viner to Callis, back to Williams, and out to the left wing to Pring. And Pring.
4 minutes time we'll see changes, I think. I think Gelhardt would come off. I think Diallo will come off.
Who just pushes it back a few yards to Viner.
You reckon?
Eventually.
More like Joe 90 at the minute.
To Williams on halfway, to Viner. And he's given the ball away to Clark.
What the fuck
Clark
was that?
Now he's got Gelhardt to his left. He's got Michoud in the middle. Michoud shoots, but he drags it wide.
Is this game as boring as it looks on Gamecast? It's very frustrating, Swan 269.
He's always struggling when he had Ahmed to the right.
Oh, it's almost right. He just got a little bit ahead of the ball when he struck it and dragged it wide. It's still 0-0.
QPR Madstead says, is Newcastle rivalry as bad as QPR and Chelsea?
Up towards the
absolutely, is it?
Tanner, Bayer, Sykes, Mark Sykes. Elise will take this throw. Pritchard is just headed down the tunnel, actually. Elise then with the throw. We're in the 58th minute now. Sunderland nil.
What is Gooch's injury? Does anybody know?
At 5:30, it's live from St James's Park. Newcastle United against Liverpool.
Being American, perhaps.
There's Tanner on the right, down the right.
I've seen enough now, says Robin Hood. Time for Pritchard and 09 to come on.
Free kick to Sunderland. Sunderland just can't get this together at the minute.
Well, they've got to up the tempo, Nick. As simple as that. They've got to up the tempo and they've got to up the quality. You've got to make it happen. That's what they've got to do.
It's back out. Ballard. On to Roberts. Roberts back again to Bart. Out to Michoud, Elise, Clark inside to Gelhardt on halfway pretty much. Wimbledon
he's got to hold the ball.
It's driven up in the middle to Bell, and he's going to find Sykes. He's got space in the area. He cuts it across the 6-yard box looking for Mehmeti, who sprints across to the far side but can't keep it in.
Gelhardt has got to hold the ball up. You know, he's coming back off him too. His retention of the ball today is poor.
Who would you take? Would you take Gelhardt
off? Ahmed as well. You know, his retention is not strong enough at times. You've got to try something different.
Well, Pritchard's definitely coming on. O'Nien's warming up as well.
Well done, that's better.
Up into the centre circle here now. Gelhardt out wide to the left.
What a fucking goal! Oh!
What a finish! What a finish from Jack Clark. Into the area on the left with his right foot, curls it into the top corner. And Sunderland do lead now by a goal to nil in the 59th minute.
And that's all about Jack Clark, isn't it? But good hold-up play by Gelhardt. He's laid it up, got the return, and a good ball into Jack Clark, and that's what Jack Clark's all about. You know, he does frustrate you, but also he comes up with some quality goals, and that was another one. Another gem. Fantastic finish by Jack Clark.
Can't stop scoring at the moment.
He can't, and that's what we're talking about, the quality, what we've got in the team. And
fucking beautiful. What a strike that.
What wins you a game.
Yes.
Jack Clark can win you a game. Your Patrick Roberts can win you a game. Your Ahmed can win you a game. You know, your Pritchard, them are the ones, the little moments in the game, little quality will win you the game. It's got us in the lead.
Well, QPR Matt says, did say 1-0.
Show him any space.
That was a screamer.
And he'll punish you for it. And he just has. Sunderland 1, Bristol City 0. And the stadium rocking.
Wow, what a goal. That's what it needed. That's what it needed.
Touchline, but it's cleared by Bristol City to the halfway line. Then headed on by Hume, looking for Ahmad on the far side and a throw to Sunderland.
You know, and it's what we talked about before the kick-off, Nick, you know, man for man, you know, quality which Sunderland have got, you know, can win you the game, you know, 1v1 situations, and that's what happens. We've got so many options.
Elise down the left here to Clark, the goal scorer. Runs into trouble though, and Mike Sykes comes away with the ball, looks for Bell into the penalty area, but Bart has come down to force him out, and Clark back to help in doing that, into the corner, and the ball eventually knocked behind for a corner. Bristol City's third corner, their first of the second half, and there's going to be a
Luke
double
O'Nien.
change. Yeah, Luke O'Nien, who was warming up to come on as well. So they have to defend this corner. It's come out into midfield. Williams puts it back in, and it's headed over the bar.
That's what the game needed. We were struggling to break them down by trying to pass into the box. So we just need that half a yard space, which is what Clark does. That's his trademark. He just dips his shoulder, gets into the right, smack. Told you he would.
And Mishu, as you're right, is replaced by O'Nien. Mishu's been busy this afternoon, he's worked hard. But Luke O'Nien replaces him.
We're not supposed to score this early, says Doug B. Sunderland fans in good voice. 169 says exciting. Now with thoughts, says Kelvin Marshall.
Make the changes, and Pritchard will go into the 10 role behind Ahmad.
Yeah, Swan269 says Jack Clark has really turned the corner with all of his injuries to other players. He has been active and exciting to watch and follow.
Hume, but back from Bristol City, and then in the centre circle comes back here to Viner, and back again to Max O'Leary, the goalkeeper. Up to the halfway line, headed out by Ballard. A flag's up offside though, free kick to Sunderland.
I tell you what, Jack Clark, he hit that sweet, didn't he?
About 15 yards from halfway. Ballard will take the free kick. Passes it to Hume out wide on the halfway line on the right. Back to Ballard.
Now this is where you should see Sunderland turning up the heat. This is what I would like to see Sunderland get another 1 or 2 goals.
Pritchard looked to get the ball back, and I think he was blocked. Yeah, and Pritchard appealed to the referee, but the referee doesn't give the free kick. And eventually back from Pring to O'Leary, who passes it out to Viner. Viner down the line to Tanner, back inside to Williams, back to the goalkeeper, to James, back to the goalkeeper, and it drives it out to the left, up towards the halfway line. They're looking for Mehmeti there, but it's come back through Ballard to Patterson, and then kicked up to
another 2 goals, same as midweek, and QPR says, have you got any games in hand?
Back inside to Luke O'Nien, and O'Nien now looking for Clark. It should be cut out.
Game in hand over Middlesbrough and Millwall.
Drops back behind Clark. He tries to win it.
Millwall's the other way around. Sorry, I beg your pardon.
Which Elise takes for Sunderland to Neil on the halfway line. Back to Danny Barr. Forwards again to Neil. Nearly caught. He's managed to recover and still has it and finds Ahmad. Ahmad twists and turns.
We're starting to pass now with a bit more confidence of Sunderland.
To O'Nien, then Pritchard just in front of him to Hume. And Roberts is out wide, and here's Roberts on the touchline. He's got Pritchard at the corner of the penalty area. Roberts still has it in front of Mehmeti to Pritchard. Comes off Roberts, it's a poor touch. And Alex Scott gets it back to Pring. And Pring now on the left in his own half, looking for Williams up on the halfway line, trying to find Bell, but cut out by O'Nien. Into the path of Neil.
I tell you what, they're still battling very, very hard with Bristol City, like, and Middlesbrough's just taken the lead. Middlesbrough's just taken the lead against QPR.
And Callas plays it into the path of Williams in the Sunderland half again, and down that left wing to Mehmeti, trying to come round Hume, and there's a bit of a tug by Mehmeti on O'Nien's shirt, and a free kick to Sunderland.
I really rate Clark. He's quality, isn't he?
(1-0) to Sunderland, and we're in the 66th minute. Patterson throws the ball down just outside the penalty area for this free kick. Tony Mowbray in discussion with Mike Dodds. The players.
It is getting interesting at the top of the table, Ken. Our manager's getting sacked, says QPR, Matt. They're not doing very well, are they?
The kick from Patterson driven right up. Middlesbrough 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0. As earlier today, Sheffield United.
Don't forget, click the thumbs up, thank you, and hit the subscribe button if you're new. By hate, you mean respect, right?
Back to the goalkeeper. Viner's frustrated. A lot of shouting and pointing in the Bristol City ranks. O'Leary, the goalkeeper, in to midfield and then kicks wide on the left over the head of Mehmeti.
Everton will finish mid-table, man. They need to stop panicking. I think Leeds are going to go down.
Halfway inside their own half. They'll be taken by Trey Hume.
Well, Chris Coleman.
Jack Clark's goal, the difference between the two sides just before the hour mark. We've got just over 20.
We need a second goal, though. We always need a second goal.
Thrown into O'Nien, back to Patterson, the edge of his 6-yard box, being pursued by Bell, but he passes the ball out.
Pick it up, 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 pick it up. That's stayed in, that's stayed in.
It might still be open for Sunderland down the left wing here. Clark just keeps it in. He's got Pritchard inside. Clark can't get it.
Just wouldn't sit down for Roberts, would it?
Across in here. Oh, it drops now for Roberts. Can't get his foot to it. It comes for Ahmad. Ahmad trying to get his foot round it. Now he has to pass it out on the right-hand side, and it's off Hume for a free kick. Was that a handball at the edge of the penalty area?
Handball.
Was. The free kick right on the edge of the box on the right-hand side. Lovely cross from Clark for Roberts, but he just couldn't get his foot.
Yeah, you would have thought Roberts would have got that under control.
Nice play by Ahmad there, mind.
Quite get it under control. So
Borough and Sunderland in the playoff final. London will be bouncing. Christ almighty, can you imagine how mad that would be?
6 foot from the goal line. Pritchard, Ahmad and Roberts. Roberts jogs into the penalty area. Pritchard's having a word with Ahmad and pointing. Elise's up there at the edge of the 6-yard box, and Hume's in there. Bit of movement. It's passed back here to O'Nien. Low shot blocked. Comes out to Roberts, and O'Nien pokes it back to Dan Neil at the edge of the centre circle, who's trying to find.
How long will Gilhard get to give it a prove his worth? Well, the trouble is he's not got long left. So far he's not doing very well, and pretty poor, to be honest with you.
Will be taken by Hume. Just gathered a triple substitution being made by Bristol.
Absolutely. Leeds will not be wanting them back at this rate.
And coming on is Weimann.
Yeah, Weimann.
The Austrian international.
Kornick is coming on as well.
Kornick, yeah, the striker Harry Kornick is coming on.
And Naki Wells.
And is he Naki or is he Naki?
Yeah. Naki, Naki, Niki. Naki Wells.
Bell coming off for Wells.
Yeah, 3 strikers. Near enough.
And I'm not sure who the third person was that came off, but Kornick is on as they make the 3 changes. And so Naki Wells, the Bermudan, has gone up front. Playing just behind him is Cornick at the moment, while Sunderland take this throw. Pritchard down back to Hume, and it's knocked into the path of Pring, looking for Wells, but it's hooked away by Ballard. It'll go out for a throw to Bristol City on their left-hand side. I think Mehmeti's still out there on the left, isn't he?
Yeah. Sam Bell's off, isn't he?
Bell's off. I'm trying to think who the other player. It'll come to pass, I'm sure, as the ball played through here towards halfway, but James has it, trying to get it forward past Williams. I've got a funny feeling it's Scott actually that's come.
Leeds United are gone down, I think.
Here's Viner, plays it out to Sykes on this right hand side, down the right wing, trying to get Cornick in, but Harry Cornick, the former Luton Town strikers, forced it back in the middle. James, and out wide on that left hand side to no, Scott is still on the pitch actually, so it's not him. And now here is one back by O'Neill.
Still battling very, very hard, Bristol City. They're having a good spell here.
It'll flick past him, and it's back with Cornick to Williams, and he's tripped. Dan Neal said he played the ball.
Game over. Oh, don't you dare.
Otherwise, and it's a free kick in the middle of the Sunderland half for Bristol City.
I think Sykes is one to come up. No,
I can't see a goal from Bristol City, mind. They do still look dangerous.
Maybe it is Mehmeti, although I'd be surprised. I think he's still on.
No.
Yeah, I think it's Mehmeti's off.
Anyway, taking the free kick quickly. James gets it back
again.
Come on. Scott up towards the edge of the
What the fuck was that?
A tackle by O'Neill, and he's trying to get the ball through the middle, but it's come back through to Viner. And then out wide here to Sykes on the right wing. And Sykes taking on this right side. Neil headed clear.
Go on. Split him.
Clark back to Pritchard behind him. Pritchard away here. Forwards to Ahmad on the left hand side. Ahmad a little pass forwards down the left to Clark. And Clark now looks up and tries to slip it inside and does to Ahmad.
Ah, no, nowhere near a penalty. Nowhere near a penalty, that.
No penalty, says the referee.
Just trying to take too many.
Did he go down too easily? Possibly. He's hurt, or he's rolled.
Huddersfield have equalised.
And Ahmad to receive treatment.
Huddersfield have equalised.
And Ahmad just rolls over and sits up to receive some treatment. Bristol City, they made the changes they've made to sort of throw everybody forwards in search of the equaliser.
I think it was more frustration from Ahmad there that he lost possession, to be honest.
Ahmad is up on his feet and just heading off behind the goal. Brentford 0, Crystal Palace 1. Ahmad quickly trying to get around the pitch here to get back on. And the
Ezra's just scored for Crystal Palace and we miss him.
Come back for a word with O'Leary.
Huddersfield is now winning.
I'm not sure what the referee's objecting to. He's striding back to Max O'Leary. The ball's coming back to him.
I think he's taking it from the wrong position.
I think it's what he wanted to be a drop ball, didn't he? And O'Leary had just kicked it. So he does drop the ball at O'Leary's feet and he rolls it out now to Viner. I think it is Mehmeti who's gone off, isn't it? Because Vyman's replaced him on the wing. And the ball comes back now to Callas in his own half and back to the goalkeeper, and O'Leary will drive this down the right wing looking for Sykes. Is headed on, but straight to Elise, who knocks it up to the halfway line.
Stoke will win that. They'll win that. They'll come good.
Cornick, and it'll be dealt with. Ballard back to Patterson. Patterson kicks up towards the halfway line. Callas with his eye on it with Pritchard, and Callas.
I can see an equaliser from Bristol City coming here, you know. I've got it in my bones. I can feel it in my bones.
Williams trying to get it from the floor and wins a free kick. And while they set this up, let's get team news from St James's Park and Matthew Raisbeck.
One change for Newcastle and a first Premier League start in midfield for 20.
Gelhardt's already off, Brian Hughes,
who replaces Joe Willock, and Callum Wilson is back on the bench.
Razor with full commentary with Ando at 5:30. Newcastle against.
I think this is going to possibly finish 1-1. You know, I've just got this feeling in my bones. I hope I'm wrong. I just have this feeling in my bones.
Nice smile there from Benno. I had St James's Park in my mind because we've just been there. As James floats the ball through the penalty area and it's headed away
easily done
for a throw to Sunderland.
Downhill fast.
Throw which will be taken eventually by
Sunderland.
Hume.
Doug B, it's easy to forget we are a newly promoted team.
I wonder if we see Thurkin.
Well, just as you say that, he's come out of the dugout and having a little jog, so I think you might be right.
Tell you what, Tony Marbury,
you're in the wrong job.
You want to stop texting me.
I think it might be the other way round.
Oh, wrong, Ken.
I'm texting him.
Yeah, you must have missed when I went to the toilet. Definitely, Brian.
How about bringing on Dennis?
Bring Thurkin on. Just to freshen things up on this left-hand side.
Throw to Sunderland. Trey Hume gets the ball back now, switches it across, so it's gone straight to Mark Sykes. He chests it down and chased back by Clark. But
all Bristol City at the moment. It's all Bristol City.
James trying to get it, but it's just tapped back behind him now, and played by Vyman straight into the path of Jack Clark. Clark now trying to get forwards. It was Pring actually who gave it away, and it's down back to Neil. Neil looking for Roberts on the right. Goes down by James, back onto
they will be fired up for this.
Wimbledon 2, Hartlepool 1.
What?
And back here to Danny Bart. Bart squares it to Ballard. Ballard to Dan Neal in the centre circle. Back to Bart again. Forwards to O'Nien. And he passes it back to Patterson. Patterson driving it wide out to the right wing. He wants to get it to Roberts, headed away by Pring into the centre circle almost, and it comes down from James to Pritchard.
Oh God, aye, absolutely.
Hume back to Pritchard, inside to O'Nien, forwards to Roberts. Roberts on the right side of midfield, lays it off here in the middle to Dan Neal. They say shoot. Dan Neal's still going.
Oh, anywhere other side of the goalkeeper. That was 2-0.
Oh, great save. And then put behind.
Great save.
Either side of the goalkeeper. That was 2-0.
Down to his left.
Excellent save that.
And Pritchard going down to take
that's
this
a good
corner
save.
kick.
Could have done with that second goal, couldn't we?
Yeah, because Bristol will try and throw everything out. And this corner from the right-hand side from Pritchard. Driven in quite hard, actually hangs in the air a moment. Bart trying to head it back in. Elise there as well. Comes out to Clark, a ricochet, which will take the ball away onto this right
10
wing.
seconds ahead, Blair, no? Southampton beating Chelsea 1-0. That's crazy, that Chelsea get beat off Southampton.
1-0 then still to Sunderland. Jack Clark's goal, the difference between the two teams, just shy of the hour mark. 12 minutes left. Dennis Sirkin warming up. Elise with the throw down the line into the corner.
We'll get another one, DJ, says Jennifer.
The outstretched right foot of Pritchard. Was he saying they're playing on my head? The throw for Bristol City will be taken by Sykes and then hooked up by Viner to the halfway line, and Ballard and Hume. Ballard it is, who passes it out to Roberts, inside to O'Nien, back out to Roberts. Roberts trying to get away from Andreas Vyman, cuts inside and just lays it off behind him to Hume. Hume forwards again to...
Oh my dears, QPR says they are now losing 2-0.
Forwards again to Roberts, trying to roll it over to Ahmad on the right wing. Ahmad back to Roberts.
They could go up top two, Middlesbrough.
Hume and Ahmad down the line again to Roberts. Roberts now trying to cut inside. It's opening up for him here. Roberts shoots and it comes off the keeper and cleared by Callis. Only to Clark on the left-hand side. Clark to Pritchard at the edge of the area, trying to slip it through to Elise. Comes down off Pritchard again, Bristol City desperately trying to clear their lines and failing to do so at the moment because Clark's won it back again. Back to Neil.
Good play by Sunderland this at the minute.
2, Queen's Park Rangers nil. And back to Bart and Ballard. Ballard wide to Ahmad, just inside the Bristol City half. Squares it in the centre circle to O'Nien, through the middle to Ahmad. Ahmad is being forced to play it wide to the left to Clark. Clark dribbling at Sykes in the penalty area.
Oh, lovely.
To the back of the box to Dan Neil, and Neil looks for Hume on the right side of the penalty area, and he slips it inside to Pritchard, and there's Callis in front of him. Pritchard turns it back to Ahmad on the 18-yard line. He leaves it for Roberts, and now Hume again. It's blocked in the penalty area and cleared by Callis, and headed away from Wells.
Burnley have scored a penalty apparently.
Minutes to play. I think that was around
38. Was that 38?
It's not bad, is it?
600 and something or other. Another great attendance.
I don't know how you can sound so confident.
To O'Leary, who clears in the face of Clark. Headed away by Bart through the middle to Dan Neil. Neil looking for Clark. Oh, he's headed back.
Nah, he's lost it. Oh, Jack, man, that was terrible. That was bad, Jack. I don't know how he seemed to take.
Looking for Neil's cutout. Looking to break. I know Nine's leapt on the back for a piggyback. Yellow card for Luke O'Nien. Luton 0, Burnley 1. Was irrepressible. He actually piggybacked.
You give him a kiss on the side of. You give him a kiss on the side and all. Give him a kiss on the side of the face.
Free kick then just inside the Bristol City half on the left of the centre circle. 38,685. That was the attendance announced just a moment ago. Here, Neil. Pritchard just short of the halfway line. Oh, lovely little flick inside with the inside of his right leg. He gets the ball back. Oh, it's just intercepted, but it could fall for Elise. Comes back though in the end to Callis. Out to Vyman and across on the left to Pring. 1-0 Sunderland still lead. 8 minutes left, and now Bristol on the halfway line on the left having to come back. Matty James.
Still think it's going to finish 1-1 this. I hate to say it.
On the right to Sykes. He brings the ball down in front of Jack Clark, and he's got Cornick who's gone out. Williams has gone out wide, and Joe Williams here with Cornick on the right wing.
I don't know. They're just
inside, and Williams now. At the
they're still really fighting, and they're winning a lot of 50-50 balls, and they're coming forward now. They've got a corner.
Inside again, and
hey, people can slag me off in the chat saying I'm being negative and that. That's just what I can feel. No, you can't support keeper. Oh, come on.
Down comes Matty James.
Better concentrate here.
Yeah. They're still in it at 1-0 Bristol City.
Got to keep composure for the final 10 minutes or so.
Side. No sign of another change yet as the ball headed up in the air by Clark to the edge of the area, and Luke O'Nien throws himself at it, and Roberts is just trying to be patient here as he brings the ball out and leaves the ball for Clark on the left, and then forwards to Ahmad, who flicks it inside to Roberts. Roberts now, is he going to get past Callis? Callis gets a foot to it, and back it swings to the edge of the penalty area, and Max O'Leary passes it out down this left-hand side for Bristol City. Pring's made a run forwards on that far side. Vyman now, though, has to play it back to Williams and back again to Viner. And switch sides, Callis and Viner. I think Callis is well aware because Ahmad's on the left. They're worried about his pace. Cornick chasing this. And Neil's gone with him. Eventually back into the middle. It's swung into the penalty area. Sykes nodding it down here, and it's headed away from Wells's half volley in the 6-yard
What's that?
Towards the corner by Danny Bart. The warning signs are
I don't know that they're getting nearer. They're getting nearer Bristol City. We need to be careful, Sunderland. Like I say, I still think it'll be 1-1. Like I say, slag us off as much as you want, but I've just capped that figure. If we get a second, it's game over.
And then the free kick for a foul on Pritchard. It's going to be a double change. I think Ekwa's going to come on too. Harrogate 2 through 1. Yeah, both Ekwa and Sirkin are going to come on. And we are in the 85th minute.
Ekwa and Sirkin coming on.
A free kick which Patterson will come out to take, but the substitutions have been made before he does so. Sunderland leading 1-0.
Does anybody know how Carlisle are getting on?
Sirkin will come on for
well done, Clark.
Who scored the only goal of the game so far.
QPR. Definitely my second team, Sunderland.
Well, they've shown up the number 11.
Is it at Man City's as well?
Which is Lyndon Gooch. They mean 10. It's Roberts who's coming off for Ekwa.
Roberts not had a bad game, really. There seems to be a really, really bad injury at Stamford Bridge at the moment, mind.
As well, Jay De Silva is going to come on for Bristol City. We're into the final 5 minutes of the game. It's 1-0 to Sunderland. De Silva now will be Bristol City's last throw of the night to Williams.
There's something going.
So Joe Williams off and De Silva comes on for Bristol City. Patterson placing the ball for the free kick.
Forrest just equalised. Forrest has just equalised. That's going to open the door.
The north end of the stadium. Applauded all the way round. Patterson then with the free kick on the right of midfield.
They do well, manager is Preston if they're winning.
Head of Viner. It hangs for O'Nien to nod down, looking on that far side for Ahmad. It comes back to Neil, out to the right to Hume. And Hume...
Been a nasty injury at Stamford Bridge. There's been stoppages for like 10 minutes. He's still on the ground in the stretcher.
And one back by Luke O'Nien. Behind him is Ballard.
Ekwa's playing up front.
Ekwa's gone up front. Ekwa in the middle. Ahmad just off him. Ball headed away again by Callis. Drops for Ahmad. Inside to Pritchard. Trying to get it here to Sirkin. And it's come back to Max O'Leary. And the West Stand applaud Patrick Roberts now. And he applauds them back as Luke O'Nien heads it back to Ballard. It's hooked in the air, hangs for a moment. Sykes looking for it, heads it back straight to Ekwa, and then back it comes to Callis, and then across to De Silva, who plays it right to Viner on the halfway line. James plays it back through Viner to Callis, and then back out to James on this right-hand side, and the longer ball up towards the edge of the Sunderland penalty area, but it's headed clear by Bart. Then back down the right of the penalty area. Vyman's trying to get in here, pulls it back.
Well done, Ahmad Diallo. Well done, Ahmad Diallo. They are solid there. Like.
Well done. Excellent tackle by Ahmad.
To clear it. Throw to Bristol City. To Scott. Back to De Silva, left of the penalty area, to Scott again.
I still think it's going to be 1-1 this.
Plays it into the middle to Viner. Viner looking for Sykes on this right wing. Sirkin in front of him. Inside to Wells, the Bermudan international who began his career at Carlisle. It's back on the halfway line to Viner. Viner driving a longer ball down the right side of the Sunderland penalty area into the corner. But Elise Strong holds off Wells.
Excellent strength.
And it's a throw to Sunderland. We're only a minute away from the 90. 1-0 to Sunderland. Elise with a throw, a yard or two from the corner.
Will you stop saying that, says Jennifer. Sorry.
Referee urging him to get on with it. Down the throw goes towards Ekwa. Comes inside to O'Nien. Back towards the halfway line, Callis. Back to Max O'Leary, the goalkeeper in his purple kit drives the ball down the right.
DJ, stop thinking.
He's kept it in. He's gone round Elise, runs though into Dan Neil, and it finally is played out to Cornick.
It's all Bristol City at the minute, the last 2 or 3 minutes. And they've just played a ball in, and it's a shocking ball from Bristol City. It's gone straight behind for a goal kick. I reckon there's going to be about 5 minutes injury time here.
And we have now played, in a second, 90 minutes. And we will have 5 more minutes. Patterson placing the ball for the goal kick. Sunderland lead 1-0.
Carlisle's still winning, do you know?
Feel they still might get another chance. Sunderland 2 will feel.
As Northampton, did they lose?
Another chance to wrap up the game.
Yeah, and Sunderland have gone with 3 at the back now.
It's Northampton, the team.
We've got 3 central defenders now. Sirkin and Hume playing as the wing backs.
Oh, someone's just
looking for Equa.
Someone's just put fuck in the channel. I hope Bristol City haven't equalised.
Strongly away by Ballard to Equa, but Neil's seen the ball whipped off his feet on the halfway line, and Bristol City come forwards down that left wing, trying to get in past O'Nien. It's played down the touchline, and Vyman or Pring leaves it for De Silva.
Told you, 1-1, didn't I?
He's pulled down.
He's given a penalty.
I told you, 1-1.
Down by Trey Hume, and the referee's pointed to the penalty spot. Can Patterson produce his magic again with this penalty kick?
No, 1-1.
We're in the 91st minute, and De Silva pulled down.
There was just something about Bristol City that just weren't lying down. The last 4 minutes, they've been all over us. They really, really have.
For his remonstrating with the referee.
Eh?
I don't think Hume can have too many complaints, actually.
No, he's got the wrong side of him.
Yeah. He was into the box to Silver and clear on that left-hand side, and I'm pretty certain he was tugged.
I think 1-1's going to be a fair result, though, do you know, Anne?
Kick then for Bristol City in added time here for a point.
1-1's a fair result
from the match. Vyman. Well, there's 3 players: Sykes, Vyman, Sykes, and Patterson are having an exchange. It's not going to be Sykes who takes it. It's going to be.
That's it. 1-1. It's 1-1. It's 1-1. Gone in.
He's got his back away from us at the moment.
That's 1-1. That's 1-1. They've scored. They've scored.
It's at the Roker end. The penalty then. Patterson trying to make the goal small. Bristol City to equalise from the penalty spot here.
Told you, didn't I? I told you it's all 1-1.
And it's driven home, bottom corner by Naki Wells. He is Naki. Naki Wells equalises. Sunderland 1, Bristol City 1.
Well, it was on the cards, man.
The Bermuda Naki Wells with the penalty.
I didn't jinx it, SCFC, Dean. It's the way I can see the game, the way the game is panning out. Yeah. I can see it happening.
There,
Bristol City were always there threatening, they were always there.
You need that second goal, don't you?
Yeah. So 1-1 it is, as we head towards the end of time being added on.
They deserved it, though. I think the last 5 minutes, I think they've played really well, Bristol City. They've attacked at us, they've closed us down.
Unbeaten run, but there are still a couple of minutes left. Can Sunderland
people are saying I've jinxed it. I haven't jinxed it. It's just the way the game's panning out. That's the way it's gone.
Don't be silly now. You know, if you've got to take a point, you take a point.
Free kick to Bristol City.
It's not the end of the world, is it?
I think we always felt this was
I'm not being proud at all. I'm gutted, absolutely, but I'm just basically following Sunderland for 40 years, and you can sort of tell the way the game is starting to pan out. You can just tell that Bristol City are nowhere near done.
Free kick, the goalkeeper. Bristol City will be delighted to take something away from the game. O'Leary with the free kick out wide to the right, over the head of Cornick.
Yeah, Brian Hughes saw it coming. Yeah, absolutely.
Sunderland on the left. It's going to be taken by Elise. I think a fairly lengthy throw down the left wing. But
so that's 2 penalties we've given away the last 2 games.
But it's headed away by Sykes. The foot in it by Sirkin. Forwards it comes and cleared. Back to Sirkin on the left. Clips it inside to Pritchard. He's fouled by Cornick. Just inside the Sunderland.
You got to say well done to Bristol City though. They've battled and they've fought, and like I say, teams would have, the heads would have gone down.
09.
Not Bristol City.
The free kick. Middlesbrough 3, Queen's Park Rangers 1.
Yeah.
09's free kick then floats up towards Ballard, who's gone up, but it's headed away.
I think they have, Ant. I think they've been a bit harsh saying they haven't deserved it. I think
to the edge of
they were slightly the better side in the first half.
By Bristol City, and O'Leary gets it downfield again here for Wells on the right-hand side. Chasing back with him is Elise. Wells cross and it's blocked by O'Nien. He has to clear it again. Elise on the left-hand side here now, and Elise bringing this down the left. We're in the last minute of the 5. Here's Pritchard ahead of him. Elise's fallen off the pitch, and now a free kick on the left for Sunderland.
We've got to do better at home, says Doug B.
Pritchard rolls the ball onto the pitch, and the referee just urging Sunderland to get on with it, but can't do so because Sykes stood right in front of the ball. O'Nien's trying to take the free kick, and he does so now with his left foot. Strikes it diagonally.
That's it, full time, just as I thought.
Penalty area. Comes out from Bristol City. The whistle's blown. It's a point apiece. Disappointment for Sunderland ultimately, having led until added time, but then the penalty conceded by Trey Hume and Naki Wells stepping up to equalise. Bristol City will feel that they deserved a point, I suspect, from the game. They made Sunderland work hard. Jack Clark's goal in the 59th minute, and they had to really dig deep to try and get a second. They didn't really trouble O'Leary much beyond that. One save from O'Leary from Roberts, when Roberts will probably feel he arguably should have done better 12 minutes from time. But then Bristol City rang the changes. They brought on the forwards, and it was Sunderland in the end who were defending for the last 5 minutes or so, leading to that penalty. But Bristol City's unbeaten run continues, and Sunderland's good run continues. They head to Rotherham, of course, on Tuesday night. 38,685 here at the Stadium of Light, and it's finished Sunderland 1, Bristol City 1.
Nick and Gary, thank you very much. Gary, I'm going to cling on to you for a couple of minutes more.